Okay, I did something really bad, and I'm not lying. Oh, Jesus Christ. Just talk me through it here, or help me. Okay, you know, Steven and Kevin are on the show this week, and I heard, I guess you could say I did, like, sort of my own Misery, you know, the movie Misery. I did something like that with those guys. I heard they were... Fuck! Sorry. I heard they were working on another movie. I locked them in the basement of the podcast studio. And they have food and water and everything. I'm not like crazy, but I wanted them to put me in the new movie. And I can't tell you what the new movie is or about, but I just wanted them to rewrite it with a big part in it for me. I don't need a fucking little part. So now they're mad. And just do me a favor. Can you tweet at them? Can you please tweet at them and like just tell them everything's going to be all right, not to be mad at me? And if I could... Oh, God. Anyway, all right, that bit's over. Well, it's not a bit. Seriously, tweet at those guys. It's not a bit. It's the truth. Tweet at them. Say I heard that Todd's got you locked in the basement of the podcast studio. Tell them it's going to be okay. Alrighty. Hey, by the way, we're bringing those guys back, and we're going to do I don't know, I want to do a mushroom episode with them. I think that would be so much fun, or at least maybe something. Very strong pot, at least. I like how... First of all, I don't like when I laugh at my own things, but I like how it goes from mushrooms to at least strong pot. No, let's do mushrooms. Why not? We're full-grown adults. So are you a full-grown adult? You're not, though. You're not. You are, you're not. You might be. I don't know how old you are. All right, everybody, this is it. It's the opening to the show. Like I said, in case you're only listening to this episode, maybe you don't listen to the show regularly. Oh, this is the longest opening if you're not a regular listener. Why do I even think about that? You know, somebody that's just, you know, a fan of theirs, wants to hear the interview, but they're like, what the fuck? This is the longest opening in the world. It is. But I'm bringing these guys. I want these guys to come back because the first time, I don't got to explain it again. Just have fun. Enjoy the show. Goodbye. Tweet those guys right now. I'm not shitting around. All right? Bye.
You guys have name tags? Can we?
Kevin.
No, I got it.
Not
Really?
Kevin. Well, I don't know.
No, I'm good. Kevin and Steve. I'm not stupid.
But I just want to make sure. Okay. Daniel.
Embarrassing.
Chris.
Turn their mics off so I can talk to Kinno.
What are you going to do? Hello.
Can I put name tags on them? What are you, stupid? Turn their mics off
What?
so I can talk to them. That's fucking embarrassing.
Why would their mics have to be off for you to talk to me? Isn't there?
No, because the joke was
Isn't
that I'm
there
so
headsets?
stupid that I'm so stupid that I don't. Oh, you're right.
Yeah, turn their headphones on.
Either way, I know. Come on, guys. I'm seeing if you're alert.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Let's go.
A very funny guy, Todd Glass.
Mm-hmm.
If you fucking call me back this time, then don't call me ever again, because we're done.
Hello.
The Todd Glass Show.
Do this whole show so I can play with this phone voice.
Hello? Hey, Zach. Zach Allen Advocate? Listen, man, I really want to come on the podcast. I've got stuff to promote. Yeah. I don't know what to say during the opening anymore,
But I feel like people want me to do it.
Todd Glass.
a lot of pressure.
Ryan Regan. Again.
Ryan Regan.
If you don't want me to do the podcast,
Call the police, I'm not even joking around.
I don't know. Let me know that. Do you want me to beg?
Todd, it's Marin. Mark, I'm the guy who can't come on the Todd Glass Show. What do I fucking need to do?
His very funny podcast, The Todd Glass Show, can be found at Nerdist.com. Please welcome Todd Glass.
From the beautiful Los Cienega Strip,
This is every week. It's exciting.
high atop Black Horse Motors, it's the Todd Glass Show.
There's a lot of pomp and circumstance.
There's a lot going on there. Yeah, sometimes when I play it, I realize how long it is. But what are you going to do?
Very professional.
Thank you.
You got it.
I wish
You know
we had
what?
something
Seriously,
like that.
Kevin, I knew the second I met you, you were going to say nice things.
He's very complimentary.
He is very complimentary.
It's a great blouse you have on there.
A blouse. I would never.
It's a compliment. Come on.
You know what's funny about that? You're right. You can't. If you say that to someone, how can they?
What are they going to say?
Like a guy walking on the street that you want to annoy him. Like a guy that looks like a dick. You see him at the mall. You go, "That's a beautiful blouse."
Right.
Hey, this isn't a blouse.
I'm
Be
sorry,
the guy.
I think it's good looking. I just think it's good looking.
But I'm not.
the big deal?
I'm wearing a fucking blouse.
No, it's whatever it is. I like it. What can you? I like it.
Yeah, but you don't got to say blouse.
I'm sorry.
He always gives
A
right
top.
at the end.
What if he's the top? It's a nice top.
Can't you say shirt? All right, let me get this out of the way. I always get nervous when we have guests. Anybody we don't know. So I'm gonna start the show and I'm gonna get this part out of the way. I'm petrified. I'm gonna say your names wrong, even though I will say this first. Now a lot of times, this is the part talking about.
Okay.
But I'm gonna say it, and then I'll feel better the rest of the show. My big thing is when I meet someone, I say I don't get starstruck, but I get talent struck. So if somebody that does something that makes me, really does it for me, I get a little bit, like that, right? So I will start by saying, and always the thing is when I meet new people, do I tell them I, big fan? You deal with the same thing, right? You're like, no. So I fucking love what you guys do.
Thank you.
I mean, it just. And you know why I'm saying it? Because our listeners that feel the same way are like, yes. It's not that I like what you do. It's I call it high candy, and it will fucking do it for you. And from Super Troopers is where I as probably a lot of people.
Yeah.
And Beer Fest the same thing. I mean, there were times watching it with my friends. I was like, this. First of all, I don't think marijuana makes bad, and it's a huge compliment, and then we'll have a blast. But just sit back and listen to the compliment.
You can draw it out.
I can draw it out. So what was I just saying? Hold on about pot does not make bad things seem good. It amplifies stuff. If it's bad, it seems worse.
Right.
If it's good, it'll just let you go down that path with them so much more. So when people ask if you're high, I always feel like they're trying to say but when you're high and you watch that movie with that in mind, I'm like, this is just fucking torture. It's like they're getting in my head and they know, no, they could handle it a little bit more. Do it 2 more minutes. And I'm like, thank you, fucking God. Because they're right. I can handle more of it. They make me have a goddamn heart attack, and that's what happens. So I was excited when you guys were coming in today.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you for having us.
You're welcome.
I know what you're talking about. Because I got stoned one time and watched the movie The Other Sister with Giovanna Ribisi and
I love that movie.
Juliette Lewis. Really?
In a way that
because I'm about to slam it. I just want
in a way that it was so unintentionally hilarious.
Well, but that was the thing though. It's like there was the commercial where Juliette Lewis goes, "Who invented sex?" And then Giovanna Ribisi goes, "I think it was Madonna."
Oh,
and that was a trailer moment.
But it's such a bad joke.
Yeah, but so I was like, I'm gonna get fucking stoned and watch this movie, and by myself and have a great time, and it sent me it actually made me feel bad about myself.
Really? Because it's funny without the weed too. It was very funny.
You felt guilty?
I felt guilty.
But hold on here, that I'm saying that your movie is without marijuana fucking not only I shouldn't say your movie, what you guys do in general. They're the 2 things that resonated with me the most so far. Right. But I'm not now I'm probably being paranoid.
No, I was doing the bad version.
Right. Okay.
Of what you were saying.
I get it.
Yeah. So thank you for the compliment.
Yeah, you're saying
you're welcome.
It amplifies it, and it amplified it in a bad way.
Yeah, for me.
Right. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I got it.
Oh my God.
And you have a great blouse.
Is that the best music in the world?
That's excellent.
I can't stop.
Looney Tunes.
Imagine if we had a program director and he made us play that behind the whole interview. You guys came in, you're like, wait, I thought it was like a podcast. I didn't know they were going to play
vaudevillian.
No, it seems
comedy.
It's professional.
It's funny if you play it after anything. Just say, it doesn't have to be funny. Just say, that's a nice blouse.
Great blouse.
Is it funny after something tragic?
It might be. Do the guy that throws.
My father lost his leg to diabetes recently.
It does make Is that true?
Yeah.
That's what. If you go,
he's handled it really well.
If you go to see Patch Adams, that's what they play after a diagnosis. I'm sorry, you have AIDS.
right. 1 second will kill a whole bit. All right, let's. So there we go. So we got that. Oh, one more thing. What if it's like 50 minutes later? I'm still going, one more thing. Thing. I get drunker and drunker. I'm like, you guys, no, you don't get it. There's nothing worse than someone compliments you and then you say thank you and they go, no. You're like, well, listen.
Seriously.
Seriously. Like, what do you need to do to know that I appreciate what you're saying? No. No, I hear you. You're No. You don't get the way I mean it. All right, I got lost there. But no, I used to not know how to describe how to come to my show because people go, as you know, you're dealing with, which we'll talk about, as touring now.
Yeah.
And then sometimes in the radio, people ask you, like, what do you do? Describe it. And it's always hard for me. So I used to go, well, I can't tell you what my show's like. But after 25 years of not being able to say anything, I started saying, my show has nothing to do with Super Troopers. I don't want them to miss out. But if you don't like Super Troopers, you might. I don't want to be negative, but you probably won't like my show. Right. And that was my best way to eliminate people because I thought that was a helpful sign. We'll take a break.
Really?
Yeah, you don't. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, if somebody said it wasn't like their favorite movie, but if they didn't like it at all, because it's that silliness that if they don't tap into that, then they probably wouldn't like my show.
Yeah.
So we're not so different.
Yeah.
You and I.
That's what I was trying to say.
How many times have you seen Super Troopers, Todd?
I don't want to turn into this, but no. Probably
it won't be more than me, so it doesn't. That's okay. It's okay.
But I remember you saying in your show, asking people, or maybe even off stage, saying, "How often do you like to get high and watch Super Troopers at like 2:00 in the morning?"
No,
or when you come home from something.
In your act, they used to go, smoking a little bit of pod, watching Super Troopers, never killed anybody.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Did the crowd react to that?
Yes.
Did they laugh at that?
Yeah, it always gets a great reaction. And young people like it. You know why young people like you guys? Because young people know what's going on. And they have their pulse on what's funny. It's true. You know why? They're not miserable yet, so they still...
There's no cynicism yet.
Yeah, there's no... It's they're at a good place. They're always on the forefront of what's good musically and funny and everything like that. You know what I was thinking would be a fun thing to do?
Tell us.
I know what you're doing.
No. But I was thinking that we were just, we did some college shows this past weekend, and we were actually laughing about a lot of college students came up to us and said that we were their father's favorite movie actors.
Oh my God!
Which was
we just went. I just literally talked about this today.
Oh, you did? Okay.
No. That's why I love it. So what do you say
it's
when?
True. It's like, oh, thank you.
That's great.
My dad loves you. Can I take a picture and send to my dad? Here, can you leave a voice message on my dad's phone?
We talked to somebody's dad.
Yeah.
Who was like, dude, tell me, you boys like Mexico? I'm like, you boys like Mexico? And he's like, oh, that's fucking awesome. I just handed him off, to Heffernan.
Right. And then did something, and then gave it back to the guy's daughter. The guy's daughter, who's 20 years old, and she was
I started to do this, and I stopped myself. Literally, just talked about this yesterday. Is going. Oh, come on. You remind me of your uncle. I hear now. And I would go, oh, come on, Don, what do you mean, uncle? And I thought, stop doing that, Todd. You're their uncle's age. Just fucking relax.
Right.
You know what I mean? But at first I would always get me like, no, come on, I've gotten there, And that happened 10 years ago. But yeah.
But that's a hard thing to realize. Because I don't think anybody ever realizes. You don't realize you're old on your own. You realize you're old when somebody tells you you're old. And
or when people around you grow old, and everyone you see on a daily basis is acting old, is old. With comedy, with what we do, that doesn't really happen because you just remain in this state of arrested development for the rest of your life.
You go home.
That's something you think, but well said, almost like a quote. Like you don't realize till other people remind you. And that's why it sucks more because you're like, hey, if you didn't say anything, I feel great. I'm still creatively doing what I want to do. I'm not miserable in my, I'm not making fun of people I'm not saying that don't do stand-up comedy or do whatever we all do, but if you're not doing something that makes you happy, I forgot. It's a great thing about going off on tangents. I knew I was making sense about.
We're still having fun.
What were we talking? Oh yeah, that's
even though we're old.
Even though, that's right. When I was 20,
you're a fine host. I want you to know
that. You know what? I think you mean that.
I do.
Thank you. When I was 20, I was opening up for. This has to do with age. Don't think I'm just deciding to tell you a story about Patti LaBelle.
Nobody ever says that, by the way.
Nobody. No one's ever but me. There's no way someone out there said, I don't listen. I don't mean to. This has to do with the age thing, is that she had just turned 40. And I was 20, so some of my brothers were younger, and my friends were 18. My brothers were 16. We'd stand by the stage and watch her perform every night, and we'd go, here's me, maybe 25 times while I opened up for her. She had just turned 40, so it was like I knew it. She had her birthday while we were on this little tour. I go, how old do you think she is? To my brother. They would guess, whatever. I go, 40. And it would be like, shut the fuck up. So a few years ago, when I realized that, I thought, you know what? It might have been 50. It seriously might have been 50. Because, no, I'm not stupid. At 20, I knew 40 you could still dance. I was 20. No, I Googled her age. She turned 40 in that year I opened up for her. So, like, we thought 40 was, like, fucking nuts for her to be able to dance around.
What were you opening for? Like, what?
Stand-up.
But, what was she, like, were you,
she
what
was
kind
on
of venues?
She was on Broadway. It was crazy.
She was on the On My Own tour.
I did a
movie with her.
You did, didn't you?
Was she nice?
Very nice. She was very nice. But it was a gospel movie. Well, it's a funny story, but not a great story. But the guy who paid for Super Troopers, after we did Super Troopers and he cashed in, he said,
I want to hear that story.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay. And so this guy said, I have another movie I want to make.
What's
I
going
want to make
on?
a gospel movie.
Just be a little careful with the mics.
Sorry. He said, I want to make a gospel movie. Mm-hmm. And I said, I don't know anything about gospel. He goes, yeah, but you wrote Super Troopers. Come on, can you write this gospel movie for me? I said, okay. I wrote a gospel movie, and then Patti LaBelle was in it. And
Eartha Kitt.
And Eartha Kitt, yeah.
What was it called?
It
was called Preaching to the Choir. What a great name, right?
Did you write Super Troopers?
We all did.
All of you guys did together?
Yeah.
So, can you tell that story of how that got made? That's a great story.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like a...
Do you want the long version?
Yes.
Okay.
The long version of how we started out, that kind of business.
I love every story.
You guys were doing Broken Lizard already, right?
Yeah.
Did you go to law school?
I did. I went to law school. Yeah.
And you took the bar exam?
I did take the bar exam.
And-
Yeah.
and
I passed.
Oh my God.
He knows
Where's the funny music? Put the funny music on.
Come on.
I passed the bar.
Chris.
Thank you.
Mr. Heffernan, congratulations.
Thank you.
You passed the bar.
Thank you. Here is your diploma.
All right, guys, let me take a fake break.
Okay.
We'll take a break. We'll be right back right after this. All right, we're back. Old school.
Talk about old. This is why we get the bad rap of being old guys.
You know what? I want to hear this.
Okay.
But I got to acknowledge what you just said. That's what sucks about my taste in music. I liked it when I was 18, 17, 15. I liked bubblegum, stupid, silly music. Now that I'm getting older, I think, oh my God, do they think that's like my first choice in music? So I get really paranoid when I like bubble.
Yeah, but you can't. No, but you can't. Look, I grew up in New York City, and so whenever I would have, I'd bring girlfriends home to meet my parents, and I would walk them around the neighborhood that I grew up in. I would say that used to be a pizzeria, that was a Manufacturers Hanover Trust Bank. It's now a Gap. That was the Gimbel's department store, and I realized that's
Gimbel's.
what my grandparents did to me.
Oh,
No, but it's like
you do that?
oh yeah.
You don't
oh my God, I'm going to stop it.
you don't try to be old. You just are old by virtue of being old. So like no,
That's deep shit.
no,
Yeah, it's good stuff. But let me tell you something.
no. But I've been thinking about this because I have a baby now. I have a baby, and I've been thinking about the fact that it's like, no matter what I do, I will always be so fucking stupid to that kid because I don't have time to keep up with the technology, right? And at some point, I'm going to have to ask. It's like when I tried to turn my dad onto the DVD player, I had
Or
to
internet porn.
It's true.
There you go.
By the way, I want you to know, Chris, I think you're getting old on that computer over there because you're not fast. Your reaction time is slow.
You know what I know?
Blame
In
it on
his
the
head,
equipment.
he's thinking, I should tighten up a little bit.
Yeah.
He
Blame
just
it on
put
the equipment.
He put his beard. What do you? That's what he does do
Blame it on
usually.
the equipment.
He does a great job, and what we won't turn him into, I say I'm never going to make fun of him. Every morning show you go to, hey, go out there and take a shit in the street and see if our listeners will drive by and honk. You know what I mean? There's a lot of the morning shows. Anyway, all right. Okay, so hold on. I want to react to, thank you, but hold on. And then I did not forget about you,
we want to
young
go back
man.
to this.
I don't know where we are. Where are we?
When I finish talking to Steve about this, I want you to finish your story about the
Super Troopers, right?
financing.
Right.
But you said something about that. There's where Gimbals used to be. There's where that used to be.
Yeah.
And
Gimbals.
Gimbals. Did I say it wrong?
No, you did. I'm just reminding you.
yeah.
The Gimbals is so goddamn old.
They were Macy's
like
cheap
Pan Am.
Ding,
Yeah.
ding, 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 ding. That used to happen at Gimbals when you walk
in the
through.
40s.
Oh, yeah.
It would be like a way they would page people.
Yeah, like next to Bloomingdale's, also, there was Alexander's and Corvettes. I don't know if anybody remembers. If anybody grew up in New York City.
Corvettes, yes.
I remember Alexander's.
Okay. Those are the cheapy Bloomingdale's.
Yeah.
Like Gimbals.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you're talking about going back.
I'm just saying, there's no way to get around sounding old. You can't do it. It's like when I look at the fashion today, or the music. You know, it's like I'm a huge Rolling Stones fan. When Limp Bizkit came out, like they're a fine band. They're a fine band, but for me, it was too much. It was too much for me. Right now, I sound old.
You do. You're sounding like an old man right now.
Yeah, but this is what I'm talking about. It's like I still listen to the classic rock stations. My kid is now, like, I put it on the TV, on the direct TV. I go to channel 703 for classic rock on my TV. And the kid is, that's like the equivalent of me. My father's from Argentina. That's the equivalent of me listening to my dad's tango records when I was growing up.
Well, look, there's no way to tell you to be, because you have to just be who you are. But you can fight. I'm not saying like, oh, I like that band, so you shouldn't listen to them so people think you're hip. No, but you can. I bet you're progressive. I would feel weary if you're not progressive in any area. Like my uncle, when he was 75, I admired him because he knew music. And he stayed progressive with music, proving your mind. And he said something we came up with together jokingly about the bands of today. He goes, yes, there was more music back then. There's no defying it. But he goes, there's a lot of good music today. He goes, but remember, people just talk about the good music back then. I was like, yeah, Shamalama Ding Dong was on their dime, but no one talks about the,
Sure.
The Sha-Na-Na and all that crap. So I think there's good music today.
But there's a reason that people still listen to the Rolling Stones.
Well, because
and,
that's
like
that's
Led Zeppelin,
yeah.
Pink Floyd. Like
Timeless.
they're still very they're timeless. They'll
Yeah.
never get.
Well, and the audiences, and also the audiences that go see them, you know that that you're holding on to at least good music because they're all over the place. Because young kids love them
When I was in high school, I
too.
went to see the Stones with my dad 3 times.
Yeah.
I get a little.
And you can
lost.
still see the Stones today.
Yeah, they're touring again.
Yeah.
But that's like I was on an airplane and I was sitting next to a college guy, a high school girl. They didn't know each other, and then I was on the window. The high school girl was in the middle. The college guy was on the aisle, and they started talking. And because first of all, she started hitting on him because she was all into him, and it turned out he went to college, and so she was like, "I'm a senior. I'm going to be in college next year. Like, tell me what that's all about." And by the way, her body position, her back was to me. She had turned all the way to the left. Now listen. I don't care like what you guys think about the way I look or act or anything like that, but
You look great.
thank you.
I'm a ball.
But Chris, that was nice. That was nice. But I wanted some goddamn attention.
You look great.
I wanted some attention from the high school girl.
Sure.
Okay. And she had her back turned to me. And then she and the guy started talking, and he was like, yeah, college is, it's a challenge, it can be like, and I was like, motherfucking asshole dick, piece of shit. Like, fuck you. I'm 40. Fuck you. And then she said to him, like, do you know Dead Mouse? And he was like, of course I know Dead Mouse. And meanwhile, inside I was like, I don't know what Dead Mouse is. And and I was on a plane, so I couldn't check my cell phone. I couldn't go online to do it, and it was just killing me. Dead Mouse, Dead Mouse, Dead Mouse. It was etched into my brain. I landed, and the first thing I did off the plane, like when you can turn on the cell phone, I didn't check my messages. I typed in Dead Mouse, right? Only
Famous
to
be told
DJ.
that
it's spelled
M-A-U-S.
MAU 5.
Oh.
Oh.
It's not even an S back there. It's a 5.
Okay. Did anyone know that in the room? Okay, here we go.
Katie.
Boom.
I lied just to look young.
Okay.
Anyway,
Katie's got her finger on the pulse.
We're old.
I saw them in Las Vegas, and I came home the next day. It was almost a parody of. I only had to see them for 5 minutes.
Who's them? Who's them?
Dead Mouse.
Oh, it's a group?
He's a DJ.
Okay.
Am I right?
I think so.
I thought it was
just
Yeah,
I don't
yeah, he's a
really
DJ.
I think you're thinking of Danger Mouse.
No, Danger Mouse is a DJ.
Or Modest Mouse.
Or Mickey Mouse. I'm thinking of Mickey Mouse. What if that's how far away I was?
I was thinking that
I saw them all
Nazi-
together. The mice.
That
What?
Nazi parable that Spiegel. It was a graphic novel.
You gotta have the title, Carrie.
Mouse.
Mouse.
All right.
Yeah.
Listen, here's the
What a
way.
Pulitzer
Look how I
Prize.
run a tight ship here.
What,
You
what,
ready?
what?
Hold on. I'm making it very
There's some
formulaic,
good mouse
which it
stuff
isn't.
going
What's
on.
going on? What's wrong, Steve? Okay. I want to hear the story, and then after that, I just want everyone to know I want everything to lay it out for them. After you tell your story that Daniel and I wanted to know, Then we're going to reminisce. We're going to talk like we've known each other for years and see how we all do.
Okay.
You know, like I remember when you guys walked in, you can say, and you know, we got special music, and I think it could be fun.
Okay.
I almost want to get a
Steve,
beer.
do you have a bottle opener iPhone case?
I do.
That is
really
That is pretty great.
It's coming very handy.
I do. Yeah.
I bet you that college.
And it
kid
looks
would've
like
been
it's gotten a lot of
impressed with
use over the years.
It has. Well, you know, I've had the bottle openers on my baseball hat, and I've had them on my flip flops.
Flip flops are cool.
Yeah, but it's
the
like,
bottle opener.
But to take off the shoe and
It's
do
a little
it on
gross.
the beach,
Dirty.
there's some sand. It's
I agree
dirty.
with whatever you say.
Yeah.
First, I like doing the flip flops. You go, it's gross. Me too. Same thing. Come on, whatever these guys say, I'm agreeing with. And Gary, you shut your fucking mouth. Like, what if they say something you know I don't agree with? I go, thank you, and they're like, Todd, you feel the opposite. Shut your fucking mouth. I'll edit this out. These guys know what they're talking about.
Super Troopers.
Super Troopers.
Oh, Super Troopers. So, I mean, I could talk for hours on it.
That wasn't your first movie, was it?
No, we made it. We all went to college together. We started a sketch comedy group there.
What college was it?
Colgate University.
Oh yeah.
Upstate New York.
In the Patriot League.
Yes, the Patriot League.
Yeah. Well, I'm a Northeast guy.
Where are you from?
Massachusetts.
Okay.
Peabody, Massachusetts.
You're a masshole?
Peabody.
Yeah.
Gary Gulman's so I don't forget to say it. I'm going to say it right now. Your hour special on Netflix debuts.
No, Comedy Central.
Oh, fuck you. You got it on Comedy Central. You son of a bitch. Mine went to Netflix a month ago.
Oh, no.
No, you know me. That's
didn't
where I
mean to
wanted
rub
it.
it in your
I always
face like
wanted
that.
it. Did not.
Ours is going to Netflix next
Yeah,
month.
we sold it. Netflix is where it's at, bro.
Thank you.
Ours
Thank
is
you.
next month.
Well, old people, some of the older people still listen to Comedy Central. No, that's good. I'm not going to lie.
Streaming is
But
in.
I did leave a message on your machine specifically about how I'll put all the work your way. I'm going to play it right now.
Go on.
I left a message on your machine, I remember, because I was getting you ready to come over to the show. I was giving you directions. Play the part where Steve's talking about, oh, no, that would be me.
You would have to do
it.
it.
It would have to be me. Forget it. I definitely don't want to do it. For some reason, I thought if I was leaving you a message, Steve, that you would be your responsibility to recreate it. But then
He left you a message, though.
Right.
Then boom.
Well, now I don't. This whole thing's fine. Sir,
Okay.
the table is yours.
we
so
went to
you
Colgate
started
University.
Broken Lizard
Right.
in-
We started
in
a
college.
comedy group. We graduated. We moved to New York City.
Are you guys still
Reformed.
friends? I know that's the worst question
Still
in
friends.
the world. Good.
Still friends. But I mean, at that time, there's like 15 people. You know, now
Get
there's
rid of
only
some of that shit.
Yeah, the attrition. You know?
A lot. Well, people left the group only because they hated us. Like we had one guy who said we gave him headaches before the live shows. He
Too
said-
many mom jokes.
Yeah.
He told us.
He said, "I can't take it. You give me headaches. I have to eat
This
bottles
is before
of
the
aspirin."
movies, right?
This is before the movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
This is
live
I love
shows.
stories like that. It's like the guy who quit the Bruce Springsteen band, you know, because he made him record "Born to Run" too many times.
Wait,
Right.
so-
and he quit before that album came out.
So I thought you made. And I'm like, where are you performing at this time?
We were at like clubs, little clubs in New York City, like the Duplex, but like places where we could do sketch, not even like stand-up clubs. There was like there's a place called 55 Grove Street.
Comedy
Time. There's all kinds of stuff. Good, Comedy Central. Good. And so anyway, we're doing sketch shows, and so we started writing movies. We made a short film with an NYU student. And then we learned how to make some movies.
We
went and made
did we did some interstitial stuff for Comedy Central.
We did too. We shot some stuff for Comedy Central.
Yeah.
Before
the movies, yeah.
Okay.
And then we made a movie called Puddle Cruiser. We put all of our money together and we shot a movie for $250,000 at our college at Colgate. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of the calling.
This is a long feature movie.
Yeah, feature
full-length.
film.
It wasn't a student film.
Yeah.
We had graduated,
Yeah,
but
we were like
he had
3 years
graduated.
out.
Yeah,
2 or 3 years out.
We just went back to the campus.
Yeah.
To shoot it
And we
there.
Now,
shot
if you guys were all in college together, and then
Yeah.
you graduate and you're doing sketches and you're shooting movies, and you're still going to law school.
Kevin was in law school.
I went to
during
law
this thing?
school. I graduated from law school, and then like the next week we started shooting Puddle Cruiser, our first movie.
Oh, okay.
Puddle Cruiser.
Puddle Cruiser.
You know, I told my stepbrother yesterday because he knew you guys were going to be on the show, and I thought I go, why didn't anyone tell me to watch that movie? Like, they know I'm a fan of everything else. And I told my stepbrother, why would you never tell me that? He goes, I did. I'm like, well, you could remind me.
It's real.
I didn't want to be
it's
wrong.
I mean, it's a charming movie, but we didn't know what the hell we were doing.
It's rough.
So, yeah, we didn't know what we were doing.
But although interesting, if talking about Netflix, when on 60 Minutes when they interviewed the CEO of Netflix, Leslie Stahl said, "So if I pull any movie off of they were down in the warehouse. If I pull any movie off the shelf here, you would know what it is." And he said, "Yeah, probably." She said, "Okay, I'm just going to pull one at random." And he said, "Okay." And so she reached up, pulled something off the shelf. And she goes, "Puddle Cruiser." And he goes, "Oh, it's from the guys who it was the first movie from the guys who made Super Troopers." But like,
oh, that's so cool.
Our phone started. It was just random dumb
so
luck.
cool.
Yeah, on 60 Minutes.
We were blowing up.
In your face, stall.
Yeah.
I thought
Leslie.
She caught him.
I would love that. I get excited when I think David Spade might mention me on Letterman. He just references, we were...
Okay, so what happened?
So we
finished
made
that
this movie, Puddle Cruiser.
What happened with that movie?
We entered into a bunch of film festivals, and we got into a bunch of we got into Sundance and South by Southwest and all these places, and we had a deal for it to be released, and then the deal fell through. The company went bankrupt, and so we kind of got screwed. And then,
Orion?
No, it was close though. What was the name of that? Oasis? No,
Trimark.
Oh, it's Trimark. And so then after that, we used that movie as kind of a calling card. Like a lot of people really liked it. We made a TV deal.
I would just say, actually, since I think it's a little relevant, Trimark actually chose to release the Carrot Top movie, Chairman of the Board, instead of Puddle Cruiser.
Before ours, yeah.
Oh, really?
The Carrot Top vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, anyway,
rest is
ultimately, we
history.
went around and we wrote that movie and we brought it around to all, and we were with it was developed everywhere. It was like, we were with the Farrelly brothers for a while. We were with the Zucker brothers for a while. We were with all kinds of people.
Mm-hmm.
And then ultimately everything fell through. And this one guy was sitting out there that we knew who was a former banker in New York City.
How did you know this guy?
He was the father of a girl we went to Colgate with.
Mm-hmm.
And he had just retired from banking.
Mm-hmm.
And he had money lying around.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I want to be a movie producer.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to his daughter, do you know any guys?
He sounded like one
He
already.
did. He did. And he said, do you know any guys who do this? And his daughter said, I know
He
these
literally
guys.
just said to his daughter.
Yeah.
Play the crackling music and say that.
I want to be a movie producer.
There, it sounded better.
Good.
Say it one more time.
I want to be a movie producer.
What if I was directing you and I said, listen, really like a parody of old
Really
stuff?
sell it?
Yeah, really.
Say, fella, I want to be a movie producer.
That's good. That's good.
Really good.
That was good.
Right?
Yeah, that was really strong.
You know, you take no
Print that
I
bullshit.
like the accent.
Thank you.
I think you could take, I'm being actually serious. You could take, I can't take direction at all, but
Okay.
you could tell you could.
Thank you.
Me, I just go, I'm going to repeat it the same exact way. Do you want me to do it again?
Well, I was on the spot.
You know what I mean? Like on an audition, even when they're being nice, I feel horrible. When they're actually, I've never had that many bad experiences. A lot of times they're very kind. They're like, give you really nice direction, but that was good. And I at one point, I just started going, I really don't mean, I'm probably just going to do it the same exact way. So I'm embarrassed to give it another shot. Okay, go. That's the best interview skills. I tell a story, there's nothing, go.
Boom, go.
So he says
I wanna be a movie
So
daughter.
he says to his daughter, I want to know about how to make movies.
Mm-hmm.
And so she introduced him to us and our kind of people that we knew. And he said, I want to see what a movie script looks like. And we
Wait,
said,
has he
Swear to
seen
God.
Puddle?
He saw Puddle Cruiser, yep.
Puddle
Because
Cruiser.
we shot it at Colgate's where his daughter went, his son went there. You know, he knew that world, right? So,
But he walked out of our office with the videotape of Puddle Cruiser and the script for Super Troopers under his arm to see what a film looked like and to read a script, to see what a script looked like.
Yeah.
He's okay.
Yeah, and so
How old a guy
ultimately,
was he at the time? I'm trying to
he was
picture.
probably like, I would bet he was probably like late 50s,
White hair.
60s,
White
Yeah.
hair.
early
Yeah.
60s.
So this is adventurous for him. It's
Yeah. Well, he he made his money, and
Right.
now he's
Is he
having
still,
fun.
really cool of him.
around?
Still around?
Yeah.
Still around. He funded our another movie of ours too, a movie we made recently called Slam and Salmon.
So now, so this guy.
So this
you
guy
meet
reads
him-
the script. Yeah,
you,
he's like,
you don't talk numbers. You don't talk anything.
nothing.
He watches
He just
your
wants
movie.
to. Yeah, he just wants to know about how to make
and he got
independent
the
films.
he got the humor immediately because maybe
very
okay.
fun. He does stand-up comedy. This guy.
No way.
Yeah. And that was another thing that he
I
wanted to
can't-
do for fun.
I have like an affection for him, and I don't even know the guy.
He's the
but-
most
Robert
wonderful guy in
Klein.
the world.
Robert.
He is Robert Klein.
Okay, so he leaves.
and so he reads the script and he's like,
Wait. How long between? He leaves. You give him all your stuff.
Yeah.
And at that
Very
time,
quickly.
At that time, you think anything of it? You think this could
no,
be a
because
real thing?
we have all this other stuff going on. We've
In
got,
Hollywood,
like,
we're like
we're
real-
like George Clooney is a producer on it,
Mm-hmm.
and Danny DeVito's a producer on it, and all these guys are different producers.
John Goodman was attached to play the police chief at one point.
Which is the Brian Cox part, right?
The Brian Cox part, right? So all these things are going. We're like, yeah, we're gonna make a great movie, and then it all falls through. Mm-hmm. And then this guy's sitting there, and he's like, I really want to make a comedy movie. And we said, okay. And he said, what are you doing with this script that I read? And we said, well, we're trying to make it. And he goes, well, I want to pay for this script. I want to make
Now,
this
had you
script.
sold the script already?
We did. We sold it to Miramax. We developed it with Harvey Weinstein for a while, and then he punted it. and then he sent it over to this guy Bob Simons, who made all the Sandler movies. He made like Waterboy. Then he punted it, and then we went to the Farrelly brothers, the Zucker brothers.
So no one owned it at the time.
and then George Clooney's personal assistant, this girl named Amy Cohen, who's actually an associate producer on the movie, brought it to George because she wanted to become a producer, and he said, if you can find something for under $5 million that I can produce, we'll do it for you. And she said, this is the one that I want to do. And so
And you're talking about
Super Troopers.
Right, Super Troopers.
And so George Clooney was our executive producer, and he got John Goodman attached. And this is actually a difficult period of time to sort of explain, except there was another investor who did come on, and he said he had the money. He wrote a letter of intent. And so that's how we got John Goodman to act in the movie. And then we actually had this. It was the strangest thing. Me and the girl, Amy Cohen, were at the Sky Bar, and we saw this producer who lived in New York. We saw him at this place, and what we found out was that he was in town now, shopping a John Goodman vehicle and looking for the money for the movie. He actually didn't have the movie, and so it just
he attached
literally
himself
happened
to your movie.
24 hours later, he was out in California, and we bumped into him.
And he promised to pay John Goodman this money, and he didn't have the money. So
oh wow.
So anyway, the thing all fell apart.
Great. That's a great story right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
It totally fell apart.
Yeah.
And then the last person sitting there is this guy. And he's like, I will still make this movie.
Yeah. By the way, it's a great story for you now.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
For us then, it sucked.
Right. We had
Wait. So during this time when you had Clooney and you had all these people, this guy said, "I'll do it," and you were like, "No, thank you, we got it."
Yeah, we're like, we're exploring this, and maybe it was something we can work out.
How long a period of time goes? I'm sorry, between
guys, hold on, Gary, I don't mean to cut you off. I need to do a station identification here.
The Todd Glass Show, voted #1 by the Podcasters Association of America.
All right, go ahead.
You finished the script, and how long did it take?
Years.
God, it's heartbreaking.
I'll just let you know this. Like between
At the Sky Bar.
Puddle Cruiser and
which
the
is
time we shot
depressing
Super
to begin with. I find that place incredibly depressing.
Yeah.
Because everybody's beautiful.
But we were still
happening.
we were still living in New York, so it was like whoa,
I hate
between. You were saying between
Puddle Cruiser and Super Troopers was 5 years. So like really in this period of time, like we were pretty always at the end of our rope. And like
we all still had day jobs. We all had that kind of thing.
And so this was like, when we got John Goodman and got George Clooney and everything was hot.
Was Clooney going to be in it ever?
No, and that's what all the studios asked us when we went around to give them the movie. Yeah.
No.
But so this thing fell apart and delayed us for another year, and that was a pretty depressing period of time.
Yeah.
But then so Pete Langell comes along.
Yeah, and then ultimately he said, "I will pay for it," and we said, "Well, we don't have to do anything else." I said, "I'm in. I'm doing it. Let's do it."
He said, I'll pay for everything myself.
Yeah, yep. And he put up $1.2 million.
Now, where did you come up with that
did
number?
you get a little on the side, for sure?
No, he did.
What did you get that number, 1.2?
It was just, we put together the lowest budget that we could possibly shoot and have a realistic looking movie. And we had a guy who was our finance guy, our producer, our budget guy. He did Puddle Cruiser, and so this is the budget he put together. And said, "This is what we can do it for," and so the guy wrote the check.
He just wrote you a check for $1.2 million?
Yeah, basically.
Wait.
Well, it comes in installments. But like, it's the strange thing about the movie business is this is how it works. You'll hit the pavement for 2 years, getting closer and closer and closer, and waiting for people to make their decision, and then all of a sudden you hear about some Yahoo which Pete Langell is not. But like somebody just comes in and it's like 24 hours later you get the news. Somebody leaves it on your voicemail like, oh, he greenlit the movie. Like you've got this green light.
But the difference between Pete and these other people were when he said, I'm going to write the check, he wrote that check.
Yeah.
Like in this business, it's always like, I'm going to pay you, I'm going to do this, and it never happens.
How much
this
was
guy
the
wrote
actual first check he wrote you for?
I don't know. It's probably like $400,000.
$400,000. Like you remember that was probably the biggest check you've ever held in your hand up until.
Well, I mean, it was like you had to immediately put it in the bank so you could pay all these people who were already working.
I've held a $25 million check.
You have?
Yeah.
Where was that from?
A friend of mine, his grandmother founded 2 companies. She founded United Fruit, and she founded Spalding Sports. So
oh my God!
United Fruit is like Tropicana and Chiquita Banana. Anyway, when she passed away, he and his brother and their 3 cousins split a shitload of money and property. But this was an installment, and so I was at his house. I was on Norco playing video games, playing PlayStation, and the game kept freezing. And finally, he was like, "Fuck it, it's the whole system. Let's just go buy a new. I'm going to go buy a new PlayStation." I was like, "Now that's a little rash, don't you think?" And he said, "Steve, who do you know who got one of these today?" And he went to his desk and came back and handed me a check for $25 million, and it was just a little installment of his inheritance.
Wow,
Yeah, that guy should have paid for the movie.
Okay,
Right?
so
That's all you think of.
I know. That's it.
Come on, he's right on his ball.
How does it benefit me?
By the way, Chris is only going to... He's got his finger steady there.
He's ready. So the guy gives you a check.
Yeah.
And he says, "Go do it."
Yeah.
And you hit the ground running.
Yeah, and
you had a
he doesn't
director
know.
in mind?
He doesn't know how to make it.
Who directed it?
Jay Chandersek, one of our guys.
Okay,
So
yeah.
we were a whole entity. So we produced it, wrote it, directed it, acted in it.
Did you write it on spec and then brought it to Harvey, or did he develop?
Yeah, well, we started writing it first, and then ultimately we sold it to him. And I think we already had some drafts, but we ultimately wrote like a bunch of drafts with them. And then he just like, I'm probably not going to make this in the near future. If you want to bring it somewhere else, go ahead.
And he just let you go.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was like I don't remember what it was. We got paid some small amount of money, like $25,000 or something.
Yeah.
Like that, to pay him back. Somebody had to pay him back $25,000.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, he wasn't seeing it. It wasn't a big deal, and it was funny because like it's this is no knock on Miramax, but like the development process, there was a point in time with the development people there where they, like we wrote the opening scene of that movie, with sort of in the frame of mind that like this is the only time you'll get to experience what it's like to be pulled over by these guys, because it's the only time you won't know that they are the heroes
Like
of the movie.
it starts in the car with those guys who are stoned in the car. The idea is start there.
Yeah, because that was where the idea from the movie came from. It's like the terror when you're stoned in a car, the terror you feel
That
when
would
you are
just
pulled
rip
over.
me to fucking
That's
shreds.
like really. That's when you conceded the idea. You remember thinking.
Yes.
Thinking
Well,
about
that was it. And then what they're saying, Miramax came in, or whoever was the development person said, these kids aren't the characters of the movie, and so it wouldn't make sense to start the movie as them because you don't get it.
They said we don't want to confuse. Yeah, we don't want to confuse the audience. And so, well, actually,
we're like, no. That's the whole point. The whole point is you're stoned in a car and you get pulled over by the car.
and some guy looks in and says, do you know how fast you were going? Like that's you have to experience it just once. It's the only time you get to do it.
Right.
But so I remember the idea that they came back to us with was, why don't we see each of the Super Troopers as little kids in kindergarten, like playing with each other, and that's how we'll get to know their personalities.
No, really?
Yeah.
That's almost sad. That's what somebody.
That was the Flintstones kids. It was a short-lived Saturday morning cartoon where they showed Betty and
Is that a real
Muppet
thing?
Babies.
Yeah,
Muppet
Barney.
Babies.
I remember that.
It was very similar. It was very.
It's the same
very
person. They got
entertaining.
fired off that movie.
Muppet Babies. Yes, also yeah.
Hold on, let me.
They pitch that everywhere they go. What if we see them as kids?
Todd, take control. Take control.
I like.
Okay, so hold on. I'm fascinated by this. So
Okay.
the guy gives you a check. You start shooting.
We start shooting, yeah.
You go through casting. You get Brian Cox.
Yeah,
you get-
so we get word from Brian Cox's agent or whatever that he's read the script and he wants to make it. And we're like, oh, what? And it's because at that time
he's so much better than John Goodman would have
Well,
been.
but also
I think.
he's like a
so perfect.
He was
in that
amazing. He was
role.
amazing. He was amazing.
You know
So
what I mean?
perfect.
Like he was a guy. He's like he's like a Shakespearean actor. And you're like, what does Brian Cox want to do with us? And it turns out like the guy.
By the way, can I tell you the truth? I got fucking scared shitless that I don't remember John Goodman being in the movie before when you were talking to me. And I thought, if all I have to do is if he was in that movie, it didn't mean I didn't love the movie. It just meant whatever the reason I spaced. But I couldn't admit it to you guys because I thought, they'll be like, does he fucking love the movie? He doesn't remember John Goodman's in it. Now I just realized John Goodman isn't in it.
No. Didn't make it in there. We couldn't pay him. So that's
all that time I was living with that.
I'm sorry.
Kevin, you
I'm
don't
sorry.
care.
I do. I'm sorry.
Is that way? Because you got quiet for a little while there.
Well, I went inward
He
for
was
10
nervous.
minutes going, was fucking John Goodman in that movie?
No,
I can't ask.
No.
Okay.
Brian Cox.
But listen, Todd, this is a safe. It's
I
safe.
know. I
You
should
can
have
ask
been
it-
comfortable.
We're all friends
You know what?
here.
I still want to be respected. It's like if someone said they loved something I did and they didn't remember somebody who was in the movie, I'd be like, well, that was a fucking compliment flushed down the goddamn toilet. The guy doesn't fucking.
He must have really liked that movie.
You guys wouldn't go out front and sit in front of the car a little while. Nice guy, but how do you fucking not remember John Goodman's in the goddamn movie?
Yeah, he doesn't know. He's never seen the movie.
Yeah,
That far.
These guys are all the
Bullshit.
same. They're all morning guys, even if they're at night.
He wasn't stoned either. Let me tell you. I know stoned, and that wasn't stoned.
He's got morning radio in his bones.
I know he's faking it. I can tell a faker.
Yeah, in fact, I never even saw his promo at the Improv. I was just fucking saying it.
Jesus. I wanted to tell him that. Oh, was that you in the promo? I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I thought it was somebody else.
Yeah, I remember Brewer. Brewer, but then Kevin said, no, he's... Okay,
Yeah.
now I got it. Now I got it. All right.
I get it. I get it loud and clear.
No.
All right, so...
So Brian Cox...
So back to Daniel.
Apparently a huge Jerry Lewis fan.
He is?
Apparently.
Okay.
This is what we were told.
Uh-huh.
And so he loves, like, kind of slapsticky comedy type stuff, and no one ever asked him to do it. No one would ever ask him to come do those movies. And so he was like, I would really love to do this movie. And so he...
Did you think
signed
of
on.
him, or was that an
no,
agent or a
no.
producer?
You
someone...
wouldn't think of it. I mean, there are like people who are comic kind of like actors that you think of, but you won't think of. You wouldn't think of somebody like.
He's done
Brian
a bunch
Cox.
of comedy since
Yeah,
then.
but since then he has. Yeah,
you
of course.
gave Brian Cox a comedy
no,
career.
But that was what it was. That was what it was. His agent approached us and said, Brian, because he was the original Hannibal Lecter in Manhunter.
Yeah.
He was?
Yeah.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. In the 80s.
Don't get him started on that. Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
Bastard.
Although for the sequel for Super Troopers, we have discussed putting Anthony Hopkins as Chief O'Hagan just for the little joke.
It would drive Cox over the edge.
Yeah, he would. That'd be it.
Yeah.
No, but his agent.
You killed Cox.
Yeah, but his agent approached us and said Brian really wants to, get back into. He wants to do a comedy in a big way, and he really wants to do this movie. And it's look. I mean, honestly, from you have an investor, and the independent film world changed a lot when we were between Puddle Cruiser and Super Troopers, where you had to start getting name actors in the independent film. This doesn't seem so novel now with every independent film having giant movie stars, but back then it was just happening. And so, we made an offer to Paul Newman. Like that's
you did for the
we did.
That's
we
great.
did.
And Bill Murray.
And Bill Murray.
Yeah.
And by the way, those guys never even got back to us.
Yeah.
That's Murray.
So
I've been waiting for a callback for 3 weeks. Supposed to have lunch together a week ago.
Yeah.
What about Daniel?
Okay, so who else did you approach?
That's a good question.
I get into it. So
For that part,
Yeah.
I think that like we Harrison Ford was on our list.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's ridiculous.
No,
you know?
and the funny thing is, I worked with Sam Elliott.
Oh right.
And
we tried to get Sam Elliott
and
James
Adomian.
The guy from Babe.
He asked me to throw his name in.
The guy from Babe, the tall guy.
Rebhorn.
No, wait.
No,
James. No.
No, he's in
James
American-
Cromwell.
James Earl
yeah.
Jones.
Rebhorn.
No.
I was working with
James Cromwell.
Sally Jesse Raphael.
No.
I'm the worst guesser in the world.
No.
although she would be good.
Even after the answer's in.
James Cromwell, sure. Okay, so you got Brian Cox.
Yeah, so we get Coxie
doing it.
and yeah,
Bill Bixby.
It all came together. Bill Bixby.
Jim Gaffigan was in that movie.
Gaffigan?
Friend of the show.
So Gaffigan,
Gaffigan,
yeah.
who's a guy who he actually we had him come to our we did another movie called Slam and Salmon, and he came to be in it. And he
Go on.
He said the reason I came is because Super Troopers. He said he thinks Super Troopers is responsible for the success of his stand-up career.
Really?
Yeah, and we said, why is that? And he said, because, and this is what we were talking about earlier, college kids love that movie. I started booking colleges. And it was based on the Super Troopers thing, and then from there, my stand-up took off.
Yes, but there's another story behind the Jim Gaffigan in our movie, which is that which Kevin doesn't want you to hear, which is that when Kevin would go out on
He steals deli meat from the craft services table.
Close.
That was a great one. That was a great one.
That was
Perfect, Chris.
It's funny if you just keep doing it. Takes
Repetition.
A few he goes, I know. We're not there yet, but we'll get there.
So Gaffigan, so Kevin, this is the mid '90s. Kevin would go out on these commercial auditions, and I guess he and Jim Gaffigan were considered to be in the same food group as each other. So they constantly were bumping into each other at commercial auditions. And Gaffigan was continually nailing these and booking the gigs, like a Rolling Rock. He got it.
He was like the spokesman for all like Saturn, Rolling Rock.
Yes.
And Heffernan would come in. Heffernan would come back and be like, that fucking guy, that albino guy, God, fuck that guy. I see that guy at every goddamn audition.
Because nobody knows who he is at this point. Nobody knows who Jim Gaffigan is at this point.
Yeah, and so then Gaffigan, first of all, he tries to block the audition of Gaffigan. Gaffigan's supposed to audition for the movie. He's like, I don't want, we're like, come on, we got to see everybody.
Oh, that's a great story.
Gaffigan comes in, nails it, fucking nails it in front of Heffernan, who's like the most hostile, filmmaker for an actor to audition in front of for Jim Gaffigan. He fucking crushes it afterwards. We're like, God, that guy was awesome. And Heffernan, he pulls out, you always have like one veto card, like, no, not that guy. That guy is not in this fucking movie. He pulled it out, and we overrode that thing.
Wow. which required 2/3 of Congress to override a veto.
That's exactly. But we had the quorum, and then it was great because on set that day, Gaffigan was hanging out. He's in the car, and like I'm in the scene with him, also with Paul Soder, one of the other guys in the group. And all of us, we were over by Gaffigan. He's talking dirty, which we didn't expect, and he's like telling jokes, and we're like, "Oh, fucking Jim, you're the fucking best." And Kevin is about 50 yards down the road at the craft service table, like angrily eating, like jealously watching the new relationship forming between us and Jim Gaffigan.
And then we told him the whole story. We told him my backstory. He's like, I don't want to cast you because all these commercials thing. And he looked at me and he goes, oh, that's funny. I don't even remember you. And I was like, I remember you, Jim.
Yeah. I don't like Jim Gaffigan now.
Worse.
Fuck him.
Okay, so you're shooting the movie. Everything's going great, right? The guy's happy. You're on budget.
Yep.
Well,
on time.
Although our producer cried on like the first or second day.
Why?
Of the shoot, because we opted to shoot the highway scenes first, and it was summertime, blistering heat, and craft service. Like the first few days of a film, it's like you just got to get the kinks out. Well, the kinks were in craft service, and there were no beverages, and so there was a mutiny going on.
About beverages?
Yeah, remember? It's like there were
I remember that.
there weren't enough sodas. But like, why did Rich cry on the?
I wasn't there when he cried.
Thirsty?
Well, Gaffigan was fucking dick.
Gaffigan was there.
It must have been the Gaffigan day. Okay.
And at what point
beverages
did you
weren't part
guys
of a tough
know?
love thing?
You shot it, you cut it,
we finished it, and then we started editing, and then we were trying to hit the deadline for Sundance. We didn't have a distributor.
You don't have.
And by the way, just so the listeners know that I'm sort of still commanding this interview.
Yeah.
Every time Daniel's done a question, I think I know the next question I want to ask, and then he asks
And then
it.
he
So I'm
nails
just
it.
letting him go.
That's good. No, I mean that's good.
But it is true. I go
delegation.
I got to ask that, and then he asks it. I go, well, what do I got to interrupt for?
I used
now
to
that we
love
know
the
that, I'm not
Tonight
going
shows that Ed
delegation
McMahon ran.
What?
When Ed McMahon would run the Tonight Show, I used to love that. When he would ask all the guest questions, those were my favorite Tonight shows.
Sometimes he'd look
where
in Johnny's
Carson
eyes.
delegated.
But that was the thing that when that was happening, I was always watching Johnny because I wanted to see how jealous Johnny was getting, and he was fucking hating Ed McMahon at that point in time.
Yes, when McMahon would. Yes.
How much more patience do you have before you put a fucking stop to this?
when that see, as a young kid, I didn't realize that, but now looking, not that I watched it, I was super young, but even now,
right, of course.
We'd watch.
I mean,
that.
with Conan and Andy Richter, that's what you're talking about.
Or anybody like that. We watched old Tonight shows, and we're like, oh, I wonder if Johnny was because he was like, wah, 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 wah. Wonder what made him decide.
I
to
heard
do
a
that.
story that Letterman used to talk to Paul Schaefer at the top of every show, and then after a while, Paul would leave him with nothing. He would throw a bomb in his lap, and then he wouldn't pay it off. So he'd be like, "Hey, how was your weekend?" "Oh, I had a crazy weekend." "Oh my God, you're not gonna believe it." And then let him be like, "Yeah, anything?" And then Paul wouldn't. So now he stopped talking to him for prolonged periods of time.
That happened on the Magic Johnson show where Craig Shoemaker. Shoemaker would take over.
So hold on.
Okay, wait, hold on. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah,
So,
and then take a break.
So
and
you're
then
cutting
you guys,
it.
Okay, so we're editing it.
You're editing it for. You're cutting it for Sundance because you don't know what you're going to do with this.
And we're racing the clock, and we're editing it right up to the end. And
Were you happy with when you were done shooting? Did you guys have a feeling of okay, we pulled it off. This is good.
Yeah, I mean, it was impressive that you could pull it off, and I think we had mixed feeling. Like some people were very happy.
You've seen some dailies.
Like Lemme, whenever Lemme watches something, he always feels terrible.
You never know. It's an impossible thing to watch a rough cut of a movie without the sound mix. There's fat all over it. That you're gonna cut out.
Right.
It's like if you have a scene with 3 laughs in it, and then there's a fourth, or 2 bombs in the middle of it, the scene's going to suck. You just cut out the 2 bombs, and then you got a scene with 3 laughs, and people are like, oh, they're fucking great, these guys.
But I knew that. He didn't know that. See?
Okay.
So I was confident. I felt good.
So you're cutting the movie.
So we're cutting. We finish the movie, and literally me and Jay Chandrasekhar, who directed it, and we were editing it, and we took the film from the lab and got on a plane and went to Sundance.
Mm-hmm.
And then we put it up the first time in front of an audience at the midnight screening at Sundance.
You had submitted it already, and it's been...
You submit like on tape, like a rough cut, like before the film's
and they took
actually
it,
done,
and
they accepted it. Yeah,
Okay.
And so then that's like in November, and then January is the festival, so you have to race.
And
finish
also keep in mind that Puddle Cruiser had been at Sundance 5 years earlier, and we did not sell it. And so we were fucking terrified.
Yeah.
We were absolutely terrified. Because this was it
we
for
brought it to that thing, and luckily, the first screening was like a Saturday night at midnight.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone was like stoned and wasted and whatever. Sorry. And ultimately, the movie opened up in that opening scene, the stoner scene, killed.
Uh-huh.
And we knew that we were in great shape.
Sign
from there.
you
like
exhaled.
People were going crazy
and you
for
were
that
like,
opening
okay.
scene
Uh-huh.
and like applaud when the title comes up, and you're like, oh shit, we're in good shape. And then right after that, we got like a couple offers for
Right after
distribution.
that.
Yeah.
Wow. Right after that screening. That night.
Yeah, we were the first movie to sell at Sundance that year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Could you sleep that night? Were you so excited?
Well, you never knew it was because our first movie we had all these things like pump fakes and it was happening, it wasn't happening. So like until like
Pump fakes, eh?
Yeah.
Head fake followed by a jab step and then a spin move.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I love a good basketball reference. That was beautiful.
then
Pump fake by Harvey Weinstein.
It wasn't just him. It was a bunch of people.
Wait, so can I? And I don't know. Maybe this is in bad taste to ask. So the guy put up 1.2.
Yeah.
For the movie, what did you sell it for?
Oh, that's in such bad
sold
taste.
it for $3.
That's so gross.
$3.25.
No, it's public. Yeah.
$3.25.
Yeah.
Yeah. He made his money back and then some on that day.
On that day.
On that day, yeah.
And what year is this?
This is 2001.
2000.
Yeah, 2001.
2001, and then we reshot the ending that summer, and it was released 2002.
Wow.
And when it came out, how did it do at the box office?
It was okay. It did all right. It wasn't great. I mean, it wasn't gangbusters or anything.
Yeah, I get to ask the last question.
But then on video,
it was a slow burn.
You
that's where
motherfucker!
No, you can ask one after that.
That was it.
Oh, that
Whenever
was
he asked, then you asked the last one. That was my question.
Well, it seems like I'm always afraid to ask if they've been asked a million times. But like, if you don't know, you don't know it. But like, that was one of the ones I was curious about. Like when you knew, like you have to put a little modesty aside to ask this question. But like when you guys knew, oh no, like this. It's going to be around for a long time.
Not for a few years.
It was a while. It took a while because it was when it got the DVD. That's when it started.
Is there
going.
any like even month where you sort of started to smell it? Like where you go, is this like?
It's like when we would like a couple years later, after it had been out on DVD, probably for a year at least. You'd be walking down the street, and one person would say something like, "Hey, you chicken fucker,"
right?
Or something like that. Or like I remember one time we were walking down the street together, the five of us. And we were all in New York, and a dude came running out of a bar, and he's like, "I'm the bartender. You guys are the Super Troopers, right?" And we're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Come, drinks are on me. Come on in here." Wow. And it's like it just slowly started to happen like that, and then you find the pockets, like the military and the police, obviously that you're
TSA love us
strippers.
Really, is that true?
Yeah, I don't know why.
When I had a college student and his girlfriend, I had a snowstorm, I think it was, and I had to stay over, and they asked me if I wanted to go back to their apartment. They had not a dorm, but an apartment, and watch it. And literally like a year ago, why is that weird? Is that
you just gave him the signal?
What's
giving Chris the signal over here?
Blah blah blah. Go play it. I'll talk through it. Play blah blah blah. I'll talk through it.
Music for the
go
the
play
story.
it. I'll still talk through it.
Blah, 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 blah.
So, hold on. I learned to talk through it. Okay, so they invited me back to their apartment.
That's a good song. That's a good song.
I can't talk through it. They usually play it when I talk about hotel blankets being disgusting. All right. I've talked about that a lot. So my mom had cancer, and I didn't know what to do. So, yeah, I make you look bad. That's the way you get
Oh, Chris.
Try to play it through that. So anyway, we had to look into my mom's eyes, and it's just sad to see. You realize my father had passed away a year ago, and now my mom is gone. So we play we're interrupting this thing, the loser trumpet thing. Where the guy that we used to have this bit where we go, the guy hangs out by the emergency ward, and people say, and he has a trumpet. He's like a mean-spirited dick, and people go, "Hey, you're sorry to tell you this, but your son has passed away." And they go, "Sir, please get out of the emergency ward. That's obnoxious. That's obnoxious."
He works for tips?
Yeah. Yes. No, I don't know. But no one's going to tip him because they're mad at him. Sorry, you've lost the vision in both of your eyes. All righty. All right. So
we were able to save the baby, but unfortunately, your wife has passed.
By the way, would that be funny to actually do that? No. So that person called me up. Like, I mean, it might have been like 6-7 years later after I saw the movie for the first time. And I remembered because that was the person that introduced me. They don't know that I went on to like watch that movie, and they knew that night I liked it. He's like, "You probably won't remember me, but me." I'm like, "Yeah, I fucking remember." And they were like, "How the fuck did you remember that?" I go, "Well, because you showed me Super Troopers." He goes, "You remember that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I remember that." So that's how it all started. Let's do this. You guys all right for a little bit more?
Yeah. Have
Let's
a good time.
we're going to come back and reminisce.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You have the Paul Anka music? Do you remember? Yeah. Do you remember the time of
Let's take a real break.
And then I do want to take a real break. But here's two things we could do as we. By the way, thank you for answering. I love knowing all that stuff. And sometimes you're afraid to ask it because you think, oh, they've talked about it before, but you're like, our audience might not have heard it. I've never heard it, so thank you.
You should ask us. You should ask us something that you've always wanted to ask any guest that you've had on your show, but have always been too afraid to ask.
We did. How did you get made Super Troopers made?
I said,
that's
don't
what we
ask
ask
them
everybody.
They ask it all.
They're terrified to ask that.
We thought wouldn't it be funny if we were like, hey guys, we don't want to do what every radio show does. We prepare specific questions for you. What's acting like?
Right into the typical.
Todd, you do a Jim Gaffigan impression. Would it be funny if Kevin kept stopping you?
I don't
you just
really
get
do
a
an impersonation.
You don't?
You don't do that.
Just the
you don't do that whisper
thing.
voice, and then Kevin could say, "Thank you." We've seen enough.
Oh wait, maybe pretend I'm auditioning for you.
Yeah.
Jim Gaffigan. Okay. Are you guys insinuating that? Are you saying?
Shut up, Gaffigan.
There we go.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're going to take a real break because I'm going to get a beer. That thing's been looking really good. Oh, I know what we can do before we take a break.
Okay.
We'll do three things.
Let's do four.
One you'll find out about in a minute.
5.
2, we're going to come back. I'm going to play you this Neil Diamond song and see between us if we can figure it out. It's the song that they say is really him that he wrote it, but it's about pot. But I can't figure it out. I'm being totally honest.
Okay.
We'll listen to that. We'll figure it out.
What is the name of the song? Can you tell me?
It's about pot, but I'm like, it just doesn't make sense. I heard it 3 days ago.
Such a Neil Diamond song.
You'll hear it when we come back. And we'll stop it, and I want to figure it out. Someone said it's definitely a real song. He wrote it, but we'll play it, and then.
Oh wait, is it the what's that like the food song? Like I think I know this song.
I don't want play.
Well,
No. I know radio. Watch
Teaser.
This. Play
Teaser.
5 seconds of it.
La 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 hot.
There you go. That's all.
Okay,
That's
okay.
maybe 3 seconds.
He definitely said
And there was
pot.
something else I wanted to do with reminisce.
We're gonna reminisce.
We're gonna
And
reminisce.
we'll just.
But
come
what?
back.
There's 3 things.
We were gonna sing. We were gonna sing some songs.
This is the third thing. This is the first thing. The other 2 are after we take a break. This will be before we take a break.
Okay.
You guys are because I don't want to forget to do it. I could always do it on the opening of the show, but I think it's good now. You guys are touring around.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's how we know each other because we have shared a publicist.
That's right.
And so how's that? Where are you touring? And do you have any? We can plug your dates on the website, but how's it going?
It's been great. We're kind of wrapping up the year. We have one more weekend. We'll be in San Diego this weekend.
December 6th, 7th, and 8th at the American Comedy Company.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But we've been going around a lot this year. It's been pretty fun.
That's a good answer.
And
Thanks, man.
to mostly comedy clubs or
theaters, colleges.
More comedy clubs, mostly comedy clubs. We kind of wanted to do that circuit.
And will
We've
you
never
do
done it
like
before,
will you do like 3 nights at a comedy club?
Yeah, 3. Yep, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Isn't that enjoyable sometimes?
Yeah, I mean we have a great time at it. It seems to be a great audience for us. I mean,
The only time it's hard is we a couple of times we've had to do 3 shows in one night, which is brutal.
You can say no to that.
Well,
I don't, by the way, either. So I'm just saying, there's a lot of guys. The only reason I say that, I told that to somebody once, and they went, "Can you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, you'll make a little more money, but if you wanted to say no, they'd get a 3rd act."
Although I think what we have discovered, we were talking about this weekend because we did a college show Thursday and Friday this past weekend, and then that was it. The show would be over, and we'd go home, and we realized that it's the meet and greet afterwards because we always do a meet and greet at the club shows or the theater shows. And that is actually what takes it out of you.
Yeah,
that's what takes it out of you.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I never thought of that.
The show itself.
Well, you never had to do one, Daniel.
It is. Speaking of
Well
Jim
done,
Gaffigan,
Gary.
he did a meet and greet till literally.
Yeah, he does everyone.
He stopped about a year ago, but he did it.
Oh,
you know,
really?
I liked his adage on it. It was like, and I hope I do the same thing when I'm at the point where you know, he goes, I'm just going to do it till I can't. He goes, you know, I did this for a long time, and I'm packing these places, and I'm appreciative, and I'm just going to do it till I can't, which I thought was,
that's really good. I admire that.
But is there a time where he couldn't? Then? Is that what you're saying?
Eventually,
a year ago,
our manager said, you know, you can't. It's like because he's out there for 2 hours in between shows.
Yeah, especially like 1,000 people in a theater.
Right,
yeah,
echoing
sure.
exactly what you just said. Like that was the most exhausting part.
Well, because 50 people.
I can imagine.
Daniel says, I'm not going to do it until I can.
All right, so
That's
let's
his
Come on.
Sorry.
All right, what are we
He
gonna
doesn't deserve this.
What are we going to go
You're a
to
great
break?
guy. You're a
I love
terrific
that.
kid. You're a good kid.
All
I
right.
love that. And as long as you refer to me as kid.
Yes.
Let's
As long as you wear a baseball hat, you'll be a kid.
I know I look like a kid with this
Let's
hat
play.
on.
Which band sent me this song in? Into Arcadia? Yeah. I like this song. Why don't we play it? We can't play the whole thing, but we can
And then would we
play
talk
it a
about
little
it?
bit.
Can we talk about it?
And we can talk about it when we come back.
It sounds like Van Halen's "Everybody Wants Some."
Yes.
I go out old school. You're listening to the Todd Glass Show, and we'll be right back right after this.
Rise and fall. But you are in the middle, holding out for something better.
The only time he ever got upset was.
I think he didn't know what he was. There were times where he was
Method.
was not sure about
Okay,
what he
no.
got himself into.
Like when we were smoking pot on set. Yeah. There was one night, like it was that night. He's in the backseat of the car. We're shooting the
Is this
death-
true?
This is true.
Yeah.
We're shooting
He's
the
tired.
death ride scene, and like it's like 4 a.m. He's an older British man. He's just done the whole running around thing. He's got his head on the glass of the window, and we're all stoned in this police car, jammed into the back seat with him like fucking dicking around.
By the way, do you care if this is recorded?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I love this. Yeah. But I would never play
Oh
anything.
wait, we're on right now because
Yeah.
if we were on, I would have done even a better job.
Come on, Lemmy.
Because I
No,
missed
we-
like half of it because it was
No,
a
we
minute.
got I love. We got when you were talking about being in the car smoking pot. You also just got done giving him great accolade on.
No, he's fantastic.
Being fantastic.
He's fantastic.
Yeah. And then we asked and go ahead.
Well, so now we're stoned in the backseat of this car. We're just wired. It's 4 a.m. He's exhausted. He's got his head up on the glass.
Brian Cox.
And we're being such stoned dicks. Like just,
How old are you all at this point?
29 or 30.
Okay, so like basically 18 for comic years.
Yeah. Oh, well, back then I was. My IMDb had me as 5 years younger, so I was 25 at the time.
Wait, you can do that?
Well, you can't though. They fucking busted me. I'm so
Yeah.
pissed off. I mean,
I know. You know what? Because if they would just shut the fuck up, that's how you felt. So why did they have to fuck it up?
Well, here's the other thing. Here's
How
the other
cool
thing.
is that to be doing that? 25 years old, and there you are. Fucking great. Hey, it's great at 32, but 25 even better.
25. No, but here's the thing. I went out with a girl. Who I was not married to. This girl who was in a movie called Open Water. She and I dated. Okay. I was never married to her, but it says we were married on IMDb. Okay.
Wait, is that the shark movie?
Yeah.
Oh, I like that movie.
So it's a good movie. So those fuckers IMDb came after me about my age, about my 5 years. They're like, we only report the truth.
Oh God.
And I was like, okay, because my wife is like, I don't like how it says that you were married to her.
Yeah.
I have emailed IMDb like 10 times to say I was never married to that girl.
I just slept with her.
Yes.
Can you just reflect that?
Please. Yeah, just say he fucked with this girl.
Yes.
Put it in trivia or something.
But it's like they still continue to write that I was married to this girl, even though I am telling him it's not true.
Which is more significant than your age, really.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's more important
I
detail.
spilled my beer, which drives me nuts, and I'm here. I'm
Brian
here.
Cox, you in the car.
So there's only one. So we're in the back of the seat, stoned with Brian Cox, and he's so exhausted, so fatigued, and finally he just leans against the glass and he's like, "Whatever happened to Kraft?"
What a bitch.
Oh, wow.
I did Shakespeare in Moscow. What am I doing here?
Does everybody laugh, or do you guys get like pulled back?
No, we were like, oh.
Whatever happened to Kraft? I
What
love
happened to
Kraft.
Oh, yeah.
That guy's a nice guy.
He's a great guy.
He did a great job.
Hold on, I think
Todd spilled his beer again.
Jay Leno is in the rafters, and this is the truth. I swear to God, I'm
Okay,
not lying.
okay.
Can you hear him? Jay? Hey guys, it's Jay Leno.
Oh, hey, Jay.
How come the guys didn't do my show first?
Well, they've been on your show. You guys have been on Jay's show, right?
No, he never invited us.
Never been invited.
I'll call him up. I'll invite him on. That's all. That's all. He hears everything.
He's so ghostly up there.
Yes. I heard you.
Well, what happened was he broke in because he needed a carburetor for one of his cars, and he got stuck in the van.
A 1928 Dusseldorf.
You've got a nice setup here. You got a car with a French bumper sticker on it.
I know. Look at those cars.
a Porsche.
Hey, I'm going to ask you what we asked. What's going on over there?
know.
Wait, Jay has another question to ask.
Oh, Kevin.
Where would I plug in?
Who has a
I don't
question?
even
Hey,
Jay,
you know what-
Jay
you know
has
what-
another question.
Oh, he does?
Oh, he does? But we got to put reverb in your mic then. Hold on.
Okay.
What's going on, Katie?
Wait, hang on.
I leave all this stuff in. It's people love to know what goes on behind the scenes. We've got headset trouble.
It's raw.
You know what I want to do?
Thanks, Katie.
I want to turn
Can I
on
get
their
a little
mic.
reverb? Am I Katie?
By the way,
Jay?
we want to hear from Jay Leno again.
Go ahead. Jay, are you there?
Yeah, guys, I was wondering if anybody had any leads on some corporate gigs. I don't know. You guys are doing some comedy club stuff.
Well, Kevin and Steve, I think
do
they-
any corporate gigs?
Well,
You could
they do
one for
mostly
the medical
movies.
marijuana for the state troopers and stuff like that. You could do a lot of corporate.
Do you know what? It sounds to me like Jay Leno is not a tough impression to do. I think I can do it.
All right, do it.
Go ahead. Hold on. Jay Leno's.
In the wackos of the warehouse here. Okay, go ahead. Put him.
Listen, I was wandering around up here, and I was looking for some hair dye for my skunk hairdo.
Oh, jeez.
And I couldn't come across anything.
That's kind of like a Jay Leno fucked Mike Tyson.
You know what?
Don't you think?
Let's not start any rumors.
I was going to say it nicer, Kevin. I was going to go. Well, you know what? It's funny. You did one shot. You got 90% there.
It's my first time.
That 10%, you would have gotten out the Mike Tyson.
I
but
got a little Jew or Woody Allen. Like if you fuck, like well, I'm looking for my hair dye.
And it means to be pedantic.
All right, so listen.
I don't mean to be pedantic nor facetious in any manner. But I noticed
Hamburger.
That's great.
That's good. That's good.
I noticed you needed somebody for Memorial Day weekend. My blind xylophone plays. It'd be perfect. It'd be perfect for your room. What were
Was
the
that
movies? What were
Broadway Denny Rose?
What were the movies that you guys watched over and over again growing up?
Oh.
Stripes?
Oh, well, for Stripes,
Yeah.
Caddyshack,
Yeah.
Nice.
Blues Brothers.
What happened to Stripes? That could have been. Look, it's a great movie, and tell me if I'm out of school.
Could never be made again because it was the only 5-year period of time when America wasn't involved in any wars. So you couldn't make it now because there's nothing funny about these kids going off to die.
But like that movie, it was a one movie.
Yes.
Act 1 and 2, it was a movie, and then Act 3 just became a different movie.
Yeah, but that's like also like what's the Vietnam movie again? The Stanley Kubrick Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket,
Same thing.
yes.
It's like, when you
Like
talk
a
about the movie,
cult.
all you remember really is that
It's the first two acts.
section.
I have no idea what we're talking about right now.
Stripes?
Stripes,
I
the
heard.
movie.
Bill Murray?
Of course, I know it's a movie, but I never saw. I don't think I remember.
Really?
It's
I
too
know
old. It's too old for you.
Well, that's what I do. I shave off things. I go, I don't remember. That people go, when did you start listening to music? I go, CDs. I will totally lie. Right this is I will not use the word Rolodex anymore. I will act like I don't even know what it is. I had Rolodex in my act. I used to go, oh my God, I'm going through the Rolodex of my jokes, and nobody knew what it was. I dropped it out of the act, and then not only did I drop it in my act, but the next month somebody else said it. I went, Rolodex, how old are you? I went right for their jugular.
Did you put a new word in its place or no? Like
I just went, I'm going through my mind.
I'm scrawling through my.
Yeah.
That's black on black crime right there.
Here's what we got.
I don't even know what that means, but it's funny.
A pot.
By the way, I
black
see
pot?
how old I am. I use black on black.
Ah, that's not cool.
Oh, Steve, when you were talking before about you don't the things you say about there used to be this building and there you turn into
Kimball's.
I asked my nephew once. Now either he was lying to me or if he's lying to me, he's the greatest person in the world because he said what I needed to hear to make me feel better. I go, Tyler, when you look at pictures of me when I was younger, like when I looked at pictures of my parents, it looked like, where was that? What eternity was that? He goes, and he thought about it. He was probably like 20 at the time. He goes, does that make sense? Like, I looked at pictures of my parents, and that just looked like I can't relate. What was it? What was it like? Was it just? And he goes, well, maybe because it's color. No, it's. And I went, oh, you're right. He's right. It doesn't look. It made me feel better because when I looked at pictures of my parents, I was like, what the fuck? When was that from? But I look at pictures of now, like when I was younger, and I think, yeah, that still looks pretty much the same. Like, you know.
You want to know something
does
weird?
Does that make any sense? Was that the most boring story ever told?
No, they got more megapixels now.
You know, what,
but that's the problem is you're showing photos, like hard photos, right? Photos of you hard, right?
I know, but...
Hello. Where are you with that, Chris?
Come on, Chris.
He was in the
He was
moment.
enjoying the joke.
Yeah, screw him for being in the moment.
You know, I feel like we're not showing them any other... Like, we do have other stuff we play. Can you play this? This is a good song. Just so they don't think that's all we have.
I like what you have.
I hope it's not Gautier.
Can you play this?
It's better not be Gautier.
This one, the one my finger's
I'll fucking
on.
murder somebody if Gautier comes on. I'm serious. It's Gautier. Is that Carole King?
What is this?
Carole King?
I can see clearly now the rain is glasses on.
I like it.
It is.
Hold on, shut this
Kevin,
off.
by the way, Kevin has a great voice.
He does.
You
He
have
did.
a great
Hold on.
falsetto.
Yeah.
Put on a song. Get rid of this.
Uh-oh.
Kevin, you were singing a little bit. We're still going to do the thing where
I
we...
kind of stepped on your song, and I apologize.
Doesn't matter. I can play that song anytime. I don't have your...
Stupid.
Your,
You know what I
your-
just realized? iPod karaoke is not going to work because you know how to sing.
No,
Oh.
it's still going to be fun. This
Still
guy will
fun.
make it good.
Still fun.
He can
Okay.
eat funny.
Look at that.
Oh, wow.
What?
These eyes. Look at that. They
Funny.
guess who? These
That was a funny thing you said.
You know, like in,
Yeah, I get it.
you get it. Okay, which one do you want to do?
Jimmy Buffett. Jimmy Buffett.
Okay. Yeah, Jimmy Buffett, Margaritaville.
Okay.
Okay.
And by the way, people that are listening are relaxed. Some of them are laying down. Just be where you're at.
Do I get the words, or I have to do the? I have to
No.
make up the
You'll
words?
get the words.
Oh.
Do you want a reverb?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Hit me with some reverb.
Oh, sure, if you want it. Katie, the guy wants reverb.
I've met Jimmy Buffett before, so.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Coconut Pete from...
We our movie Club Dread. We kind of
we sent
him up. Yes,
You did?
Bill Paxton plays.
So you guys haven't seen Club Dread, right?
You got to get on that.
Now
Come
things
on,
are getting
get on
awkward.
it.
Now things are getting
it's awkward.
Now things are getting awkward.
Yeah,
Katie's seen it.
But I'm going to see it. Katie saw it.
Yeah. Streaming.
Bill
Netflix.
Paxton basically plays a
Jimmy
guy,
Buffett.
a guy who was like a month behind Jimmy Buffett. He had the whole same pirate
hilarious.
smuggler act.
Oh, that's hilarious.
A month behind.
So
But he never quite made it.
Yeah, so he's got a song called Pina Colada Berg. But Margaritaville beat him to the punch.
Oh my God! Oh, it's that simple. Just a little twist like that. Yeah.
And then we wrote We wrote his songs, and we inverted all the chords of Jimmy Buffett's songs.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And just made. Oh, here we go.
Reverb.
Wait, am I singing or let me sing? Or we both
You
sing?
are.
You're going.
Nibbling on sponge cake,
Oh fuck.
watching the sun bake. All of those tourists covered with oil.
If I was the director and I said twang it up a little bit.
Okay. Strumming my six string
Oh wow.
Wow.
on my front porch swing.
Oh shit.
Jesus.
Smelling those shrimp, they're beginning to boil.
Hey, Kevin, it's great. You can even turn it up a little more.
Okay,
Appreciate
right.
it. You're doing a great job.
Wasting away again in Margaritaville.
May I harmonize?
Yes. Reverb.
Searching for my lost shaker of salt. Some people claim that there's a woman to blame, but I know it's nobody's fault. I don't know the reason. Stayed here all season. Nothing to show but this brand new tattoo.
Sounds great.
Has it run its course yet?
No.
Have you run its course yet?
No.
But it's a real beauty. A Mexican cutie. How it got here, I haven't a clue.
Everybody?
Yeah. Wasting away again in Margaritaville. Everybody twang it up. Searching for my lost shaker of salt.
Some people claim that there's a woman to blame. I think, hell, it could be my fault.
I blew out my flip-flop. Oops.
I did that on purpose.
Pop top. Should we, are you going to switch over to one for... oh, hey, I had to cruise on back home.
You're listening to the Todd Glass Show, America. We're here.
But there's booze in the blender, and soon it will render that frozen concoction that helps me hang on. Oh. Pretty good, huh, guys? Pretty good.
Wow. I like it.
Oh,
I like it. There's something about just the voice and the echo that faded us into the
Beautiful.
into the
I
sunset.
never realized that he progressively comes to the understanding that it is his fault. He's not certain initially.
Oh, it is his fault, yeah. But, you know, a guy like that doesn't take any blame. You know
yeah. Until the,
hold on. Guy like First of all, I think, Steve, you know, this is my favorite thing to do. It's weird. I'm not a big fan of karaoke, but I love to have guests on and do this. So put up here. Now, there's a song I do a lot. I wish you could give it a shot.
Okay.
Even put all the songs up if you don't mind, Chris.
Okay.
What do we...
Which one do you want to do,
Okay. Okay. So, Welcome to My World. No, you don't want to do
I've never even heard that song.
Okay. How about Luck Be a Lady Tonight? Or
These Eyes.
No, you pick. These Eyes?
Yeah.
That's
okay.
You know, These Eyes would actually be a favor to me because we did it one night at a live show. The audience did it great, and we didn't record the show by accident. So
Is that the one that's like, oh, mama's ain't gonna see a man like you?
Mm-hmm. And I think that's
Jesus.
the only part that everybody should join in on, right?
Okay.
These Eyes.
Okay, but I warn you, I really don't know how the song goes.
What's that? But they're never gonna see another love like I had with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll get it.
Okay. I don't know the words, but I'm excited about it.
Put reverb in everybody's voice. Reverb in everybody's
Hello.
Reverb.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Key of C changes D, E,
Now wait.
F. Okay.
Before we sing the song, hold on, fade it out. This is a little cheesy, but before we sing the song, we all have 15 seconds with somebody right now. The odds are somebody is smoking. It might sound a little cliche, but your head does go to a very... You're blessed to have the ability to get into somebody's head right now. Is there anything you'd like to say to somebody right
Yes.
now? They just coincidentally are listening to the show.
Okay.
Yes, I got it.
And they're at that special place.
If the good Lord doesn't strike you down for all the evil you've done in your life, then I will.
That's good. That's good. I can't
A lot of reverb for him.
reverb them up.
Reverb them up. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Steve.
These eyes cry every night for you. These arms long to hold you again.
That's hard.
The hurting's on me, yeah. But I'll never be free. No, baby, no, no. You gave a promise to me, yeah. And you broke it. And you broke it. Hold on.
Voice jam. Voice jam.
These eyes
Maybe you two do the chorus.
watched you bring my world to an end. This heart, yeah, could not accept and pretend. The hurting's on me, yeah, but I'll never be free. No, no, no. Oh, you took the vow with me, yeah. And you spoke it, baby. Oh, these eyes are crying, are crying. These I've seen a lot of love, but they're never gonna see another one like I have with you. These eyes are crying. These eyes have seen a lot of love, but they're never gonna see another one like I have with you.
The Todd Glass Show.
These eyes are crying. These ain't a lot of love, and I'm never gonna see another one like I have with you. These eyes cry every night for you.
Make love to it. Make love to it.
Oh, yeah. These arms.
Make love to it.
These arms long to hold your pussy again. Oh, yeah. These eyes are crying. These eyes have seen a lot of loves, but they're never gonna see another one like I had with you. Oh. These eyes are crying. I've seen a lot of loves, but they're never gonna see another one like I had with you. These eyes are
I can't stop. I can't. I should.
I've seen a lot of loves, but they're never gonna see another one like I had with you.
Thank you. All right, we're done. I love it. You guys, you know what? You're
Singing going on in here.
I wish I could. What?
Well, Todd, why don't you do one? Since we've never seen it. We've never seen it.
I do it every week.
No.
My desk. Yeah, but it's not. You guys. No. I'm. It looks like I'm begging.
Are you too stoned to sing?
How dare you?
What
How
on earth?
dare you?
I'm a professional baiter.
No. It's. I have an easy time with the first line, but after that it gets hard. Like, where's the one that goes broom? You know the song "Luck Be"? Isn't there a song that?
Oh, that's there. That's there.
Play it. Like, here's okay. Can put some reverb in my voice, Katie. Here's what I can do. I can do the talking part if I had a 20-piece orchestra. I could sing. Here, let me pause it. I could hold on. No, stop it. Is this the one that goes? Yes. I could sing if I had a 20-piece orchestra. I'm not kidding. Like one of those guys, he's just rich. He brings the orchestra. All his management tells him it's not worth it. He spends so much money. He makes money, but he doesn't need it. And they could be yelled at when they're not, like, without me there, the conductor would go, when Todd fucking talks and he goes in for that thing, you got to give him a hard cutout. Then I could sing. But I could fool people, you know? So there's a whole orchestra. Hold on. 2, 3, 4. They call you Lady Luck, but there's no room for doubt. That's all I can do.
You were fucking fantastic.
Do it again. I think I can get better. Hold on.
I think that would be better without reverb. Dare I say?
Can you turn my reverb off? I never thought I'd say that. Hold on.
No,
Stop with the music.
keep a little reverb. You want to touch.
He's right, but I feel like my mic. I can't hear myself. Is this me?
I turned you down because you were yelling.
Oh well, turn the reverb completely off.
I just want to
Okay. Because I need hello testing 1 2.
Sounds
2.
great.
Put a teeny reverb in there. Hello. Okay. Here we go.
Creamy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for coming out to the Improv today. Call you. Hold on, start it over.
Why are you singing at the Improv?
Because
why couldn't it be a showroom?
Okay, that's home base, man.
There
You're
was
right.
a time.
I'm in a theater now. Okay. I want to thank you for coming out tonight
to the Laugh Factory.
To the Laugh Factory. Thank you, Balcony. They call you Lady Luck, but there's no room for doubt. See, that's all. You just want to hit the... People think that's singing. Middle America, they don't fucking know.
Right.
They think, I guess the guy can sing. I mean, he says stuff and the whole chorus plays.
It's speaking forcefully.
Right, but I bet you could play that for Kevin and see, like with the Sinatra, like they tell you it's a Kevin. I don't mean to be disrespectful. I love your work, but it's a parody. It's so
Okay.
And then you go for that, and then when that music comes in, bring it up a little. Here we go.
Okay.
Give him some oomph.
Not yet. Thank you for joining us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. They call you Lady Luck. No, it's not very good.
No, missed it. Totally missed it.
It's your first time.
Fuck you. All right, we're done. All right, so here's the way we're going to wrap it up.
I let you down.
Gary wasn't even interested in that. Gary left the table.
Yeah. All of a sudden, that would be like an audience member walking around the room while you're performing. You're right. You're thirsty. Thank you for defending yourself.
Not at all. Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
And you're right. Not at all.
Back down so quick.
No, but you know what though? It's like it's like starting to haggle over the check with your person at your table while the centerpiece of the thing is like the karaoke. We're closing the show with this now.
This is this is definitely the climax.
I meant no disrespect, gentlemen.
All righty. I'm John F. Kennedy.
By the way, you know that the thing that's interesting about you is you're tough. Like I would believe
everybody shut up.
Are you from like Jersey or New York?
Philadelphia.
East Coaster, right?
Fluffy.
Yeah.
$5.
That was going to be my next one.
It's the tattoo, right?
You like that?
He's got the forearm tattoo.
What's it of? What's the tattoo of?
Well, my dad was in art school. He went to the Philadelphia Journalism Art School, and I can't even lie.
You had him. You fucking had
you had me. You had me, and you had already told me that was a lie. And you had me.
Yeah,
I believed it.
I got nervous the night before I was getting it. I went online with my stepbrother Steve, and he likes a shout out once in a while, and and we picked this design out, and then I went in and they did it, and that's it. I'm not done it.
One time, about a week after he got it, he goes, I just want people to think that I'm like one of those cool guys who gets tattoos.
No.
And I said, Todd, you are a guy who got a tattoo.
Right.
That means you are one of those guys.
I'm going to edit this.
Oh.
What I exactly said was, I go, I want to be like one of those cool guys that gets a tattoo. And he goes, well, Todd, you did get a tattoo. He goes, would you say you're like, hey, I want to be like one of those guys that does stand-up comedy? Like, you do stand-up comedy.
That's all right. You can leave that in.
In my heart, I don't feel like a tattoo person.
Right.
I got the tattoo, to be honest, and I've said this before, so I could wear alligator shirts ironically. It's like, look at that guy. He's obviously like not an alligator guy. Look
Even
at him.
though he really wants to wear alligator shirts.
This is also I could wear alligator shirts.
So you can wear an alligator shirt.
Because now it's sort of like, the guy's got a tattoo. He's not really an alligator. It would be like if you saw like, I don't know, I can never think of bands or music. And I'll give you an example. This weekend, I was talking about the silly music I play on the show.
Yeah.
And I was saying to somebody, I go, that's not I like good music too. I don't think that's silly music I play on the show. It's not like I think it's Debbie Gibson good. Like joking like the guy who doesn't really know good music. So we all went around and we were like doing our version of that guy. So that's what we can do now really quick. Just give your version of like, like you don't know good. Oh, I'm not saying it's good, like good progressive, good respected music. Justin Bieber good. Right. But anyway, we don't have to do that, but God, how come I lob these bits out sometimes at people and then I get scared while lobbing them out?
We do that too. We do that all the time.
Let me see if I get it.
I think.
Okay.
I don't think it's. I mean, it's good. I don't think it's Beatles good.
No, you don't get it. I'm going to edit this out and make you guys look horrible. You got your hour special on Comedy Central. I'm on Netflix. I love Netflix. They're very good.
Netflix is the best.
So are we. We're on Netflix.
Netflix is the best.
Well, it's...
I cut the end of it out.
By the way, isn't
like
that
the beginning's a compliment?
No, the end.
I know, but play the beginning part. Doesn't sound like things are going great. There.
That's The Price is Right, isn't it?
Yes. When they lose, they feel they need that to amplify it. They already lost a goddamn car. They need this.
Did you guys hear about the one of the models from Price is Right? She just sued the show because they wouldn't let her come back after maternity leave. She won a huge settlement.
Yeah.
What sucks is the judge made her guess how much the settlement was.
Is that true? Is that true?
The first part is. The second part isn't.
That's a really great joke.
120, 200, 200, 300, 340. All right, here's how we're gonna have to say goodbye.
Shift the putt.
You guys were. This was. I don't know how. What is this?
You went $1 over.
Horrible wheel.
Just think when you walked in here how. You walked in here. We're all going to talk about our memory
you guys
tonight.
remember that? That was a long time ago.
I just remember you guys, if you don't mind, if we could all end the show by just telling a little story about what we remember about tonight. This is Paul Anka. Do you remember the times of your life? And by the way, I've said this before, but I'm going to tell you two to go do it when you get home. Go home, look through pictures. Do you have kids?
Yeah.
How many children do
3.
you have? You have 3 children?
Yeah, I do.
Out of here.
How old are they?
9, 7, and 4.
Wow, he's got a whole life outside of here.
And 9, 7, and 4, and you?
I have a 14-month-year-old boy.
First of all, you guys, you should know this. You both look great.
Thank you.
You never know when people are going to come in. You're going to be like,
You have a nice blouse.
There you go.
Do you
Call back.
remember?
I remember that.
Why you gotta say I got a nice blouse? First of all, I fucking love that. The guy can't get mad. You're like, what? I said it's a nice blouse.
What?
It's like if you call someone a lady. Hey, you ladies having fun? We're not ladies. Hey, the important thing is that you ladies having fun.
I'm going to admit something right now. When Steven said that one of the investors went bankrupt, I pictured him losing on Wheel of Fortune and the thing went to bankrupt. Isn't that dumb?
Nothing's dumb. So, well, we're going to have to say goodbye.
Wait, that's all the reminiscing we're going to do?
No,
Yeah,
we're
reminisce a
going to
little
start
bit
now.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Well, I remember, we were all sitting in here, and it just seems like, and we'll go, we'll let those guys, we'll all go, and then we're going to let you two reminisce the last.
Okay.
But I remember, can we put a little reverb in my mic? We're going to fucking reminisce here. Why don't we spend the money?
Do you need reverb for everything?
Yes.
Okay.
It makes the voice sound fantastic.
It is more expensive.
Solves everybody.
Do you remember the times? Well, I remember that I was sitting up here and I was like, the guys are going to be here. I want to be ready for them. So I was yelling at everybody. And then they're like, well, he's out there. He's just like sitting in his car. So we're like, are they coming together? I don't know what they're doing. And then when you guys walked up there, I just thought, what a breath of fresh air. You could tell you were fun. You were easy to talk to. And it just seems like the years just passed away. But what a night. And the thing that I wanted to tell you mostly, which I forget, I'm trying to work it into this bit, but it really doesn't. I should have done it before I start this bit, was if you have kids, go look through pictures and play this song. If there's one thing I leave you with today, look at pictures while you listen to this music, and you won't be able to not cry.
I was just going to whack off to this song.
That could work too. Gary? Doesn't it seem like it was just yesterday when they got here?
Yeah, and you were yelling at us because we weren't being professional enough and we weren't ready. And then you sort of turned on a dime and were so sweet to them. But I think they knew that you had just been yelling at us.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh God, I remember just it seems like it was weeks ago, but like I remember when you asked for more reverb at the beginning of this bit. Do you guys remember that? That was fun. You came in with a joke about masturbating. God, that was really what I'm going to take away from tonight.
God, I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, that was great.
That was a good
What a
time.
memory you have.
Good times.
Hard to forget. Good
What
moments
about
like that.
when Brian Cox really threw them under the bus in that situation?
Oh,
what about
God.
Kraft?
Yeah.
What about
Kraft.
Kraft? Remember that story, you guys?
Oh, my God, that was a good
James
one.
Lipton, eat your heart out.
Where is
ago.
Brian Kraft now? Or what? Not
Brian
Kraft.
Cox.
Where?
I don't know. I mean, he's
Probably in London.
Some major blockbuster, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Troy or something
Star.
like that. He's been in so many
yeah,
movies.
Troy.
Yeah.
Hey, Todd, you know what is hilarious? Do you remember that time when we were talking about Super Troopers and we started talking about an actor who was supposed to be in the movie? I think it was John Goodman.
Yeah.
And you
I don't
actually...
know if it was John Goodman, but I certainly... Here's
Yeah.
the guy that's wrong and
Yeah.
starts getting cocky. It wasn't John Goodman, but I know what you're saying.
Okay, but you remember...
I'm positive it wasn't him.
Do you remember who it was? Because I can't remember.
I don't remember who it was, but I'm positive...
Charlize Theron, I think.
Yeah.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
It was him.
That was hilarious.
It
That-
was John Goodman, and I didn't know that he was in the movie, and that was funny, because it just seems like that was yesterday. I just remember sitting there listening to the guy's interview, and I'm like... Anyway, Kevin?
I do remember so long ago, I was walking up the stairs, and the first voice I heard was Todd Glass ripping someone a new asshole.
Because he's tough. Todd is
He's
tough.
which is good. And I thought, God, that's a little harsh. That's a little harsh, And I sat down here, and the first zinger I threw out there,
I loved it.
Chris was late on the music cue. And I thought, maybe he should have reamed him out a little harder. Right?
Well, the reason I didn't, I'm trying not to make him like every show has that guy, but you know what?
Yeah.
I think if we learn one thing tonight, and Kevin, I'm going to tell you the truth, I think you're right. We need to ride him a little harder.
Yeah.
We're a little too easy on him.
I'm just saying. It's just a memory I had. I'm just reminiscing.
Well, everybody.
Do you guys have any dates you want to plug?
Yes, December 6th, 7th, and 8th at the American Comedy Company in San Diego.
Oh,
The old
that's
ACC.
this weekend.
That's this weekend.
That'll be tonight, Friday night, if I'm
That's
properly
correct.
adjusting.
Tonight is Friday night.
Do you have an opening act, or what do you do?
Todd, what do you...
I'm there.
Todd, what do you get an open weekend?
Come on down.
We would love it. We would love it if you came and wanted to be our surprise guest.
Where are you performing?
The American Comedy Company in San Diego.
And San Diego's a little far. Irvine, I was like, fuck, this will be great.
Irvine be awesome.
Hey, at least you know that means a lot. Irvine, I would drive to Irvine. I would do it just for the fun of it. But
Okay.
San Diego, I would say yes now, but then later
it
I'd be
wouldn't
like,
Yeah.
But then on that morning,
I don't want to do that.
A lot of traffic.
We're
but
actually
so
we're
this-
actually giving a stand-up his first crack, his first try at opening for us. A guy named Eric Levy, who's going to be our opener this weekend.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Eric Levy.
Yeah.
sure
Well,
it's
go
not
see him.
Levy?
Yeah, no, it's not.
It's Levy.
Yeah,
Okay.
when
Yeah.
the levee breaks.
Well, guys,
And what else can we plug?
Oh,
we have our special coming out on Netflix. I'm not.
Oh, you do?
You know, I know. We know.
I think
No,
We're talking about it. But,
and,
you know.
and what is it called?
Fat Man, Little Boy.
Fat Man, Little Boy.
Yeah.
And that's is it? Oh, that's about your tour that you're on.
Yeah,
right now.
that's our tour. We
Okay.
shot it in. We shot it at the Punchline in San Francisco.
Guys, I'm pretty sure that was a Paul Newman movie about the making of the atomic bomb.
It was.
Oh, okay.
It was.
All right.
Yeah.
So you guys
Was
are
it really?
re-releasing it, but
That's what they called.
Wait, is that true, Gary? I thought you were doing
Isn't it, though?
Well, the first two nuclear bombs were known as Fat Man and Little Boy.
Okay, so it's Fat Man and Little Boy, but yours is called Fat Man.
Wait, why are we asking him if that's true? There's no way that's true. Why is my
totally.
voice?
I think that is
It
true.
is true.
It is true.
It's fact.
You swear to God.
Fat Man and Little
Fat Man,
Boy.
Little Boy.
Swear to George
Very
Carlin.
clever takeoff on this thing.
Oh, we sound like idiots
Did
right
you
at the
did
end.
you do that on purpose?
Yes.
Oh,
Of course
okay.
they did. Idiot. Notice how I don't know anything. And I was serious. Well, because once you know it, of course they did it on purpose. Once you know all the information. Oh,
You have to.
jeez.
No, that's. Listen, you know what that is, though? I'm sorry, Todd. I think you need to spend some time in Philadelphia. Because that's very Hollywood behavior. That's what happens in Hollywood. Hollywood, you blame. You blame,
yeah, you tend to
blame.
And you tend to, like, you don't want to have an opinion. We do this bit. It's the guy who tries to agree. Like, I'm going to go say something, and you obviously are going to say something completely different from me and cut me off. You know, I watched Letterman the other night. It's just stop it already.
He's as brilliant as ever, isn't he?
Thank you.
And thank you for picking me up.
I was like, what's going on?
I was a step behind.
Chris, this is when you give him shit for not getting his cue. Yeah, hit his cue,
No,
man.
but that's what happened. I realized I missed the first word of what you were saying, and I realized that I was behind on a bit to be.
You guys were a joy. That's
Do you guys have a website? Are you on Twitter?
Yeah, we're on Twitter at Steve Lemme, at Heffernan Rules.
We are on Facebook. I think it's
Heffernan Lemme.
Look at Heffernan Lemme. We're on Instagram, Heffernan Lemme.
You know what? Sometimes I forget to do this, but I do think it's good because people listening to the show, I always forget when I listen later. I didn't mention all that stuff. So, and the name, if someone goes on your internet, on your website to get your tour dates, I guess that would be. Did we just say that?
Yeah, they're up there. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's our last names.
HeffernanLemme.com.
Okay. What, say it again.
HeffernanLemme.com.
And the name of the show that you guys are touring with?
Fat Man, Little Boy.
That's hence the name of the movie coming out on Netflix.
Yeah, it'll be on Netflix in January.
Okay. Well,
I'm done.
everybody.
We covered it all.
Are you done?
Yeah, I think we're covered.
Is there anything else?
That's great. Thank you for having us.
Oh, you know,
pleasure.
we have the ability. We're not going to do it, but like, you know, in the big shows where they have someone in the audience. Sir, you over there? Did you have a question? Yes? Your name and where you're from?
My name is Eric. I'm from Boise.
Oh,
Did he
welcome.
say
Yes, what is your question, please?
Remember Super Troopers?
All right, there
Yep.
you go.
Yep.
Did you say remember Super Troopers?
Well, that's like an homage to Chris Farley's my biggest fear to be that guy. God bless you both.
Thank you.
I don't really, I mean that in a comedic way. I mean, I want you to have good. I don't want you to think, oh, is he religious?
Oh,
Guys, this was so much fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, let's do a show at the Trocadero in Philadelphia together.
You know, let me tell you something. If you did, I would love to be in Philly. I would open up for you guys in a heartbeat.
That's
in Philly.
well. I mean, we'd all do all three of us. That's a great place to do a show.
You know, I've never done a show there, but Chris Hardwick,
Oh, you'd love it.
who, you know, basically this is under his Nerdist umbrella.
Nerdist man,
He
Mr.
just
Nerdist.
did a show there and had a really good at the Trocadero. They did 2 shows.
It's great.
Have you been to Helium in Philly?
No, we've done the.
Oh, that's a great club.
but never been to Helium.
Well, I'm going to talk to Meredith. That's her main club.
I
so I'm
know.
gonna fucking
Somebody
get
should
on
get
it.
us in there.
Meredith at Pulse Communications.
Hi, Meredith.
Pulse PR.
Pulse
Pulse
PR.
PR. She answers the phone.
Hello, Pulse PR.
Maddie, hold on. I'll be with you in 1 second. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that okay? Matt, I know you think I'm a horrible mother. Stop it! Stop it! No, I'm on a business call.
Wait, Meredith has a kid?
Yeah, he's 14. No, I should have said 30. It would have made it funnier.
Wait, but does she really have a
14's
kid?
funny.
Yeah, she has
His name is Maddie.
Maddie.
Huge Gary Gulman fan.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he loves Todd Glass. He tells everyone the same thing. You guys are like, well, I think he probably... All right,
I
everybody.
really believe her, though.
We're new with her.
God bless America. God bless the troops.
Yes, thank you for
Bye,
your service.
everybody. I like to end dramatic like this. Fade into another song about something that's going to make people cry, and that's the
For
show.
the children.
Reverb.
God bless you.
Next time you're here with headphones in your ear, there's a lot of show left, so stay right here.
Hi, everybody. This is another episode of Boy, Am I Glad I Had My Be Nice mug. Each week we hear different stories about people that were about to do something bad, and they saw a Be Nice mug, and it made them do the right thing. People that listen to the show send us voicemails on the phone, and you know mine. Last week, a neighbor of mine, she told me that my car was going to get a ticket, and as she was leaving, I was going to push her into the dirt. But then I saw my Be Nice mug, and I just thanked her. Here's another gentleman that has a story about his Be Nice mug. These are real people with real stories.
The other day, a guy cut me off in traffic, and I was going to yell at him and scream at him, but I just took my Be Nice mug and I threw it right at his head. Wait, that's not what you... That's not exactly what you're looking for. That's not exactly what you're looking for.
Do another one, but by the way, that's a great one.
Do it like that, or
like that. Do a real one, not a real one.
Okay, but yeah, okay.
Hi, this is another episode of Thank Goodness I Had My Be Nice mug. These are real people with real stories.
Here's my story about the Be Nice mug. The other day, somebody cut me off at Wawa. I was really angry, but I was half holding my Be Nice mug, and I said, you know what? Just let him go through, because I'm going to be nice.
These are real stories from real people. Buy your Be Nice mug now at ToddGlass.com. It's going to save your life. We guarantee it.
Feeling low instead of feeling so. Just remember that show. Hey, here comes another Todd Glass show. Hey,